Hey, 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 Nerd Herd family, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in, come on in. Be sure to take off your shoes at the gate. Make sure you grab a pair of socks, fuzzy socks, out of the basket by the door. Have a seat, make yourself at home. Let's get to the latest news in the saga of the Diddler and all things it's going down. Welcome, greetings, Sam3. Shout out to the dopest mod of all in the YouTube landscape, in my opinion. I love her, and I'm always going to rep hard for her because she reps hard for us. Shout out to the dopest mod. Make sure you give some love to the dopest mod when you come in the room. She works hard. Welcome, welcome, welcome all. I hope everyone was having a spectacular day. How was your day today? Let me put on a little lip. Let me put the phones on mute. They're starting already. Greetings all. Put a little lip on. Greetings. Let me shout out everybody that's coming in. We got some big things in store for you guys on the membership side. We are getting it together. You'll be very proud of us. Shout out to Locked, the dopest mod. Shout out to Sam3, Gail Franks, Jen Brown, Joan, Sonia, Catwoman, Andrea, Keisha, Lit, and all of those who are sitting on the sidelines. Mississippi. I love that onomatopoeia. So dope. Mississippi. Lisa. Shout out to everyone. Jen Brown. I know many of you decide not to write in the chat, and that's A-okay. That is A-okay. Shout out to my other dopest mod, Miss Honesty, Expressions of Miss Honesty. Shout out to Choo Choo. Is it Choo Choo or Cho Cho? Or Chow Chow? Write it phonetically so I could get it together. Shout out to Courtney. Hey fam, come on in. I'm sure you've seen the title of the thumbnail. Every day there's something new. With nothing else, this case will never leave you bored. And that is for sure. Chouchou? Je parle français. Is it chouchou? Je parle un petit peu. Je comprends français. Très bien. There's a lot about your girl, the dopest nerd, that you don't know. It's chouchou. Okay. Allô, chouchou, comment ça va? You ain't expect that, did you, chouchou? I told y'all my godmother's Haitian. You ain't hear on the internet that I'm a Haitian voodoo priestess? My mare is Haitian. I grew up with Haitians. My granddaughter's family is Haitian. I love Haitians. Très bien. Merci. You didn't expect that, did you, chouchou? You thought I was going to be like, is it choo choo or chow chow or cho cho? Hey, I got a few more people to shout out. Guys, have you seen the latest news? I'm sure you have, because I know my nerd crew, you guys stay on top of everything. So I'm sure that you shout out to, I missed a few names. Lisa in the house. Shannon, hey. We the Wild 100s. Indica, okay, Indica. Drive safely, Queen. I appreciate you. Joan, Carrie Ann, Gail, and all of those who don't choose to type but are in the house. Shout out to you guys. So as you heard today, The Diddler has Elke, Courtney, thank you. The Diddler has officially and formally, through his attorneys, withdrew his appeal for bail. So the big to-do that they filed in court and said, oh, we had all of these documents in the cell and they violated our right to privacy and our right to correspondence with our attorney. These documents said it was for the lawyer and it said legal on it, and it was discovered in court by the judge that not only did it not say legal, but that pictures and photos were taken of all of the materials prior to anyone touching them or removing them, and they never said legal. It was added after the fact. Well, the big to-do and the big appeal that was filed in order to obtain bail on a last-ditch effort was officially withdrawn today by, and for the first time in the case, signed by the Diddler himself and the attorney. Now, there is a lot of speculation, a lot of innuendo, a lot of conjecture on the internet as to why this occurred. And any one of all of those things, hey, Andrea, could be true. Of course, ultimately, we don't know. That was a private legal matter why they chose to withdraw. But if speculation stands and has any merit, it is more than likely because, first and foremost, you never want to aggravate your main judge. When you file an appeal based on should I put it back or should I put it forward? Or should I get on my Carmen Sandiego? Let me get on my mystery woman of intrigue, international woman of mystery and intrigue. So you never want to annoy or offend the primary judge on the case, because that's the judge who's going to hear your case. And if what you're doing when you file an appeal, you are telling the appellate court that the lower court judge, we don't trust his decision making. We feel like he got it wrong. And if this is the judge that is going to sit on your case, you are creating unnecessary bad blood. Unnecessary when all of your previous attempts to get out were thwarted and denied. And what is the purpose of getting out when, as soon as those superseding indictments pop out, they're going to snatch you back up and put you back in? So I'm sure, in the interest of being prudent in their legal process and not upsetting the judge any further and facing the writing on the wall and all of these new additional charges, there was a decision made like, hey, let's just chill because we doing too much. And as you guys heard yesterday, I didn't come on live yesterday, but there were 3 additional new charges from 3 additional previously unnamed men. And they are not with the Busby firm. It's an entirely different lawyer. Naj, greetings, Naj. Hey, Lakeisha, another dopest mod. Shout out to Lakeisha. And we're going to have Lakeisha doing some prayers for the crew. That's a new feature we're adding, especially on a daily prayer in the morning and on the membership level. And we are so blessed to have Lakeisha. She's a mighty woman of God, and trust and believe you will be pleased. And so there were 3 new people who filed cases against them. And let's joy to the world. What up, boo? We have to discuss some things. First and foremost, well, let me just do some house business real quick. I see my mods placing things in the chat, so let's get into this real quick. Chat rules. Be civil and respectful. Do not contact, harass, dox, etc. anyone mentioned here on your behalf or on behalf of the dopest nerd. Indeed. We're not sending anybody to do anything. We are simply reporting the news as it is reported and, making sure that we are all, shout out to Laquana. And so 3 additional people came out and also filed charges. And I found it to be a little deceitful of TMZ to report the story and take the liberty to neglect to add that one of the 3 men was his former assistant. They mysteriously somehow overlooked that very prudent point. And it just shows the bias and the unwillingness to They want to make everything appear as though these are all random assertions and that there is no truthful fact and no basis of claim for them. They want to make it seem like they're Johnny come latelys jumping out of the woodwork to pile on. But one of these individuals, and as so eloquently expressed in the filing, was an assistant to him. And he reached out because he was not getting paid. Now, there's no reason why someone of that financial prowess should fail to pay their assistant. And I'm sure there's no shortage of things that he had him doing, because let's just look back, for those of you who know, if you know, you know, back to the walking from Manhattan all the way to Brooklyn to Junior's to get a piece of cheesecake. Like, it is absolutely clear to us that any assistant of someone like him is being overworked and abused and being made to do all measure of things. So to not adequately compensate someone for the work that they're doing, and I'm sure they're having to do, listen, from what we hear about all these different places that were rented and the leftover prophylactics that were left there that were used, and all of the greasy bottles of baby oil they had to come clean up. Child, please, you better pay me my money. Ain't nobody doing all of that. Come on now. Absolutely, Sam. The TMZ is a control mechanism. Absolutely. It's their intention to see the whole premise of what TMZ stands for. If we're giving 15 points away to anybody who knows what TMZ stands for, the actual acronym. I know what it is. Let's see if you guys know what it means. Most people don't. When I say it to people, they're like, is that what it means? And it goes into yep. Okay. Another countdown, 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It stands for the 30-mile zone. And the 30-mile zone, oh, absolutely. Sam said trolling media zoo. I love that. It's the 30-mile zone. And what the 30-mile zone is that 30-mile zone around Hollywood and all of the areas where celebrities are, the studios are, where they're always seen, where the paparazzi conglomerates to be able to catch people and take pictures. So it is completely centered and focused on celebrity. So they're always going to be biased and leaning towards what the celebrities want, what they do, because they think it curries them favor at a later time for a story or something to that effect. So, I see Chelsea ended up getting it in afterwards. Go Chelsea. Absolutely. Locke said the monkey Zephyr. Oh my God. These are good. These are good. But the most zoned out. Hey, come on, come through with the alternative acronyms. Come through. I'm here for it. And so they are hyper focused on anything celebrity and all things that entails and contains. And so it would behoove anybody to believe that they would say anything that would be of disservice or detrimental to a celebrity. They are the ones that are hyper focused on celebrity. And it's that whole premise built on hyper focus and hyper obsession of celebrities. Now, as you know, we don't play that game. First and foremost, to God be the glory. God said he is no respecter of person. And so neither are we. And so we're not going to hyper focus on anybody, especially not somebody just based on the fact that they chose to do a particular profession. Like, that seems to be nonsense, and it's worshiping vanity. And there's a scripture that says, he who worships gold and vanity and has no love for humanity shall fade away, from the book of Bob Marley. So absolutely. And see, they're part of the propaganda machine. Just like I told you a few lives ago, there is a propaganda machine afoot. The one we previously talked about was with the news. This one is with, shout out to Shannon for the super sticker. Asheo, sis. Love, love, love to you. Thank you, baby. We appreciate you. And yes, they destroy Johnny Depp, and they pick and choose I like what you said, Keisha. Too much hype, not enough truth. Indeed, they pick and choose who they want to elevate, and it's like that in that industry. We know that, and that's why I'm always cautious. I say to Locked all the time, I'm always cautious of a whole lot of adulation. Thank you, baby. We appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for the jackets. And we haven't met our goal yet, guys, but we will soon. We appreciate any amount that you give. Don't even feel like there's not that any amount is too low, because we're trying to make sure that these young people are covered. And it was a little cold today. Eventually, by the afternoon, it did warm up, but it was incredibly cold for the majority of the day here today. So I just want to make sure that, the babies are able to get their jackets and do their work without feeling abused at their job. Shout out to the dopest nerd. She said, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. It's a free way to support the channel, and it really helps with a lot with the algorithm. Indeed, indeed. And you guys know what this is. I don't know if you saw I was on Popcorn Planet yesterday for a little while. I don't know if you guys saw that I came on afterwards with Andy. I was in their chat and they said, oh, the dopest nerd is here. Come on in. And so I jumped in, and he actually was reporting on, and I know it to be true because it happened to me as well. Any of the videos that we did, including the Diddler, they are monetized. They are, you have a green $ for monetized. But anything connected to Jay-Z gets a limited monetization. So you have to challenge it. And I told you the only thing I'd ever gotten limited for was Adria and that crazy interview. I appealed it and everything. They was like, child, please. You lucky we let it stay up here. But also the Trump one, I appealed that. They came back afterwards after I had to go in the background and mute music and all types of stuff. And then they came back and they said, after careful consideration, you're right. It meets all of the things, and it made it green. However, the Jay-Z one, limited. So I've challenged it. Andy was able to take a screenshot of his page and show where he had about 5 Jay-Z videos, and all of the similar like videos for the Diddler were all green. All of the videos concerning Jay-Z were yellow. So I've appealed mine. As soon as they give me a notice on whether it's green or not, or whether if they deny me and they maintain it as limited, or they approve it and they let me be fully monetized, I'll let you guys know. But there's certainly a different level of bias taking place. Oh, thank you, Sam. I like the way you put that. Sam said the like button has been caressed. Great word. Celebrity worship is suspect, especially how they allow so many bots and fake comments to hype them up. Absolutely. That's what they're into. They are into the fake bots and stuff. And here's the thing. It's no different than payola. It is like you pay DJs to. Sam said the like button has been caressed. I love your eloquence with words. Joy to the World said, yeah, I caught a clip today. Sharon said, peace and blessings, Natanya, mods, and everyone. Fruit Bat said, hey, girl, hey. I still haven't watched that entire video of you and Adrian. Child, save yourself. Save yourself. Save yourself now. I can't watch it back either because it is very triggering. It was a lot of discussions in front of a child that for the love of God, my children are in their 30s, and I can't say those things in front of my kids. Like, I don't have those kind of conversations in front of my kids. So it takes a lot to get, Amy, Cookie, Queen Felice, Grand Rising Queen. So, and there's a lot to this case. So it is my sincere belief, and I'm going to make a special video or live in regards to the 3 Israeli brothers, the Andersons, who own the Anderson Group, a luxury real estate boutique in Miami and in New York, because they also were arrested the past 2 days. and one of their cousins is still currently on the run. The other 3 have been arrested in regards to the very same thing. Schmack, trafficking, and all of that. And there's something to be said. And no one can tell me otherwise. I find the timing of this particularly suspicious. Particularly. But like I said, the Holy Spirit said he is going to tear down the Babylon walls. And anybody on that side of Babylon has to be torn down as well. Has to be. Has to be. He said he's not here to play. He is not here to play. And I'm telling you, the walls are coming down. The walls are coming down. Imagine that God blesses you. What did I say yesterday? If God gives you something, if he blesses you, and you take that thing and make it for a joke, you're going to lose it. Didn't I 2 days ago, didn't I just say that? I just said it. And look where we've reached. Imagine you have a family business. They don't deal with your run-of-the-mill average real estate. They deal with luxury real estate. They are a luxury, high-priced luxury real estate boutique. It is nothing for them to sell properties that are multi-millions of dollars. I'm talking in tens of millions of dollars. And yet, I guess that's what the city girl was talking about, getting flued out. They didn't say who they was getting flued out by. They said they was getting flued out. Apparently, according to the indictment, these guys was fluing everybody out. Okay? Everybody was getting flued out. And they would fly them out, ply them with this suspect. The narrative is continually, oh, hey guys, come out for a vacation. Hey, we're going out. We're going to do this. We're going to a island. We come over to our house on this island. And you know, that whole city girl crew of all nations fly out. They're getting free trips. They go. And the free trips, thank you, Sharon. I come for your positive energy, Natanya. Ooh, the negativity is online. It's crazy. Indeed. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it is ironic because so many women took these trips. And guess what? Guess what the outcome was? They were schmacking everybody. They said, I don't think these women allowed anyone to get by. Like, once you took the trip, once you took the ticket, you were as good as God. And that is disgusting. Shout out to Andrea Jefferson for the super sticker. We appreciate you, family. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think it's just dastardly. Like, what's happening? Because a lot of us in here are women. We have men in here as well. What are we doing? What's happening to the raising of children that so many men have this malicious and nefarious intent? Is it something that is predicated on having access to means? I would say that for the cases that we're aware of and that we hear of, it's predicated on having access to means. But what about all of the broke guys in the hood that's still doing it and in the regular neighborhoods? What about the broke men in the communities? I mean, all of these little shows that we see, all these little, femicide channels and crime. I mean, some of these are regular guys that work 9 to 5. What about the I don't know what the YouTube appropriate world is, the Strangler of Gilgo Beach in Long Island. This man was an accountant by day. Living a life. He had been doing this for decades. In fact, I had seen years ago I believe he was, excuse me, guys. I feel like my lash is irritating me in some way. I remember years ago, there was a young special needs Black man that just happened to be walking in this particular area of the beach. And this man, his daughter went out for a run, and women, like I totally appreciate, understand, and support your desire to be fit, to be healthy, to have freedom to move about, and to all those things. However, we know the world we live in. We know that we live in a savage world. Please stop endangering yourselves in the name of fitness, in the name of I'm going for a jog. Stop going to jog in the woods or in a deserted part of the beach where no one else is and you're by yourself. Stop it. Stop making it easy for people to take your life. I mean, at some point, there's a level of response. And I'm not victim blaming. What I'm saying is, if it looked like a duck, it quacked like a duck, and you see feathers on the floor, get the step and take your behind back home. What are you doing? Why do you need to jog in the woods by yourself when you know that there are very dangerous and sick people out here? Like there has to be a level of awareness and responsibility in all the things we do. We cannot continue to do things that put us at detriment. Like, I love for people to Sister Soul said I came for your positivity too, Natanya. You're an inspiration. Thank you, Sister Soul. Guys, when I tell you I thank you so much for your kindness, I promise you. Like I am totally humbled and in awe. I really am. I appreciate it. Like I'm just little old me. I'm just little old me. And I promise you, I'm the one that, my girlfriends call when they have a need, or my family members, or just my people's guys too. I was talking to one of my homeboys today. We had a great conversation and in-depth conversation. I'm here for that. I'm here for that. I know all too often people need someone to talk to, and we don't necessarily always get that. At least not in-depth conversations. We get a lot of like, hey girl, you saw this, or hey girl, you see that, or I think sometimes people are crying out for very in-depth conversations, and it's okay to be that. I love having this platform so that we can have those in-depth conversations. I want us to talk about all types of things. Like if you guys are stateside or in the United States, I don't know how these things apply overseas, but I want to be able to teach you how to freeze your secondary and tertiary credit bureaus so that you can clean up your credit, along with all these other structural powers that be that have encroached upon our lives and taken away our freedoms or limited our access to education, power, information, everything. So too have the credit bureaus and all those institutions. It's another form of redlining to, so economically disadvantage you. People are in socioeconomically disparate communities, neighborhoods, or your parents had to work so hard, they weren't abreast of this information, so there was no one to teach you these things, whereas someone across the tracks was able to get this information, learn it, and pass it around. I started years ago this with my nonprofit organization, this rite of passage for young people called Risasa. It's a Swahili word, and for the future. And I wanted to be able to have something where I think every other culture has something by which they have a coming of age thing, like a crossing over. So if you're Jewish, you have a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah. All of a variety of cultures, even if it's in the Hispanic Latino community, they have a quinceanera. Lots of other cultures have this changing of the guard, stepping out of your childhood and stepping into young adulthood. And I think we need to have something like that. And as a result of, in Black communities, regardless if you're Afro-Caribbean, if you're just African-American, if you're whatever, if you're Afro-Latino, whatever, once you have this melanated skin and you are native to the United States of America or the Americas, a lot of who you are culturally and, all of your cultural history has been wiped away intentionally. And so there are no coming of age things there. We don't have these symbolic things. And I want to be able to provide that. I created this nonprofit organization. And I'll tell you, it was at a time where a lot was going on in both my life and other people's lives. I was able to do, hold on. I saw a question that needs some attention. And did I go the wrong way? May have gone the wrong way. Let's see. I apologize, guys, for stopping in my tracks, but I just saw a question that caught my attention. Perhaps I went the wrong way. Let me track down this question. And while I'm looking for your question, oh, thank you, Sam. Ronnie Bo spoke kindly about me on the Atwood today. Ronnie's dope. He's a really dope guy, and I appreciate it. We have conversations offline, and I just think him to be a really great man and super cool. Super cool. That's a dope brother. I don't know, the conversation, well, the question seemed to have disappeared. It was something to the effect of, I don't mean any disrespect, but does Shine owe money to you? So my first question to your question is, why do you ask? And the first question to your question is, why do you ask? And the second question is, let me look straight in your face into the camera. He absolutely does. At least 500,000, and I'm sure it's probably more with interest and fees. So drop one into the chat again and let me know why you're asking. And the question is answered. Yes, he does. What else would you like to know? What's your follow-up to that? I'm curious. What's your reason for asking? Drop back into the chat. Please let me know what your reason is for asking. It's a very specific question that was not in reference to what we were discussing. But anyway, I digress. Like I said, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Please, somebody remind me what I was talking about. But I really want to be able to help our children have some sort of rite of passage to be able to step out of childhood and into adulthood. I think a lot of those cultural things are very important, and a lot of cultures still maintain things with which they do privately to be able to bridge that crossing over. And I think we need to have something for the young people. And so I did that with my nonprofit organization. It's still something I'd like to continue doing. And I also did a micro business enterprise with my nonprofit organization. There are a lot of people within the community. We all know them. There's a lady who bakes cupcakes for everybody's party. She'll be like, oh, I bake sometimes. There's a lady who watches kids or babysits, and she'd be like, oh, I'll be watching kids sometimes. There's a lady who you need your pants altered for work or your clothes altered, and she'd be like, oh, I sew sometimes. No, reframe your mind. You don't sew sometimes. You're a seamstress. You don't watch kids sometimes. You are a childcare provider. You don't bake sometimes. You are a baker or a, desserts connoisseur, whatever. Name your stuff and make it a job. Make it a career. It's not just a thing you do sometimes. It's an actual career. And so that's what I do with my nonprofit organization. I fund people to be able to start their business with a micro grant and a loan, and they don't have to pay it back. The only thing that they're obligated to do is once they start theirs, they come back and volunteer to help another woman or socioeconomically disparaged person start theirs. And that's what we used to do. It's not as active right now, but these are the type of things that I like to do with my. Did I miss that question? Come back into the chat. I didn't see it come back. Thank you. I appreciate it. My whole thing is, listen, right now, there are a lot of things going on. There are more people coming in. And I really have a question that I want to ask society. I keep hearing people saying, oh, where are all these people coming from? Do you believe all of these are true? My question to society is, why did you let him get along with it so long? You knew what was going on. Why? What is it about society that allows someone to get away with mischief and evil and dastardly things and crimes and the violation of children? Why do you allow it to go on so long? I know there's a thing called think tanks. Many of you should be aware of what a think tank is. A think tank is a typically, a segment of society, the power brokers and the movers and shakers, or the people behind them that support them, that have an organization with which they do planning. It's future making. They are sitting around planning in the end of 2024, what type of policies, what type of things, what type of, activities will take place in the world 20, 30, 40 years from now. We still worrying about, am I going to be able to go to this party on the weekend? We have to stretch the imagination and be able to say, let's unify. And even if we're in micro groups, let's unify and start planning for our futures 10, 20, 50 years from now. The things that are happening in society today, those were planned 30 years ago, aka when a lot of these suckers came into being. It was planned back then. And so it's not lost on me that this is probably a part of an agenda as well, this takedown. Not that it's not justifiable, not that it's not justified. Indeed, they should be taken down. But trust me, this was on somebody's planning board somewhere. And so those who elevated them also dragged them down. They also drag them down. And unfortunately, we end up with these 30 years worth of victims because someone saw fit to elevate someone who was willing to do this sort of stuff. Let me read some of the chats. These chats are getting verbose. I'm very interested. Somebody said, out of Joy to the World said, out of 1,000 victims, I believe 998. Thank you. Absolutely. I think it's important. It's the patriarchy. It is a system that is put in place to be able to elevate people and to drop them down as well. And that's why, listen, I have these discussions with my daughter. I have these discussions with the dopest mod. I say, I'm also very concerned about over adulation and stuff like that. Because like I said, I'm God's vessel. I am God's vessel. And so while this is through me and he is using me to get this message out and to do these things, I want people to look at me as their counterpart and not as some sort of elevated platformed savior type of thing, because that's not who I am. I am your counterpart in this world. I am a woman in this world just like you guys are. And I have tears, I have pains, I've had things in the past, whatever, that just like you do, things that we hope for the future, things, the desires we want for our own lives and our children's. And I never want anybody to feel like I am elevated above them, because here's what I know. Mutiny is a heck of a thing. And when someone is elevated, people will band together. They have this saying, my enemy's enemy is my friend. You don't even have to be somebody's enemy. They will sit and watch you rise in anticipation of tearing you down. Like in my shorts. I don't know if you guys are familiar, if you watch my shorts, go watch my shorts. I have a lot of little wisdom nuggets in there. It's like light stealers. Some people come close to you because they want the light to shine on them so that they can get illuminated with the light and look shiny as well. Some people are, stand close to you because they support you wholeheartedly and they want to elevate what you're doing and what you're saying, and they believe in you and they want to support you. And the light gets on them through their support. You have others that stand close to you because they want to steal your light. They want the light to shine on them so they can appear to be the one that's illuminated. You also have some that stand close to you because they want to be close enough to put your lights out. And then there are others who are super close to you because they want a front row seat to your demise. None of that is lost on me. None of that is lost on me. I'm very clear about that. And so while I'm here and I'm participating and I'm sharing, I always want it to be said, to God be the glory. I invite God into this space. I tell God all the time, I invite you into this space. Please let me just be your vessel. Speak through me. Direct me in what you want me to tell people, or what you want me to share, or what you want me to interact with people about. Direct me, because I understand what this thing is. I look around these YouTube streets. I understand what this is. There are some people that are just completely and totally disheartened by the fact that there are people who get love. It's bizarre to me, but God didn't call me to understand every single thing. And so I'm not going to waste my time trying to do that. I'm going to do what he called me while I'm here to do it. Absolutely, expressions of dishonesty. She said, people need to understand what cognitive dissonance is. And then you're right. That is how something like this gets to permeate through society for decades. Cognitive dissonance. It's the whole, it's not my problem. I didn't do this. Let somebody else take care of it. And you're 100% right. It's been going on for a very long time. Lady Locke said, when women put our minds together, there's nothing we cannot do. We need to work together more often and change this world. Things are so depressing lately. Asheo, indeed. And here's the deal. People come to me and said, "Oh, did you do a video on Biden? Oh, did you do a video on on Kamala?" And I'm like, "No, you need to do a video on Biden and Kamala." And I said, "No, ma'am. Perhaps you can do it. I'll watch. Because who are you to come and tell me what to do? I'm doing what God has called me to do." I keep telling people that. I do not understand why they don't understand that. And so if I do a video on Trump, it is to illustrate to you who he is. Who he is. I'm not telling you choose who I want. That ship has sailed. He is the upcoming president, and that ship has sailed. So this informing you of who Trump is not like, oh, choose the person I want. What I'm saying is I'm bolstering exactly what Lady Locke said. Women have the capacity to do great things. We are able to make $1 out of 15 cents. I don't care what's going on in a situation with a man. If he goes and gets the food, we make it a dinner. If he goes and gets the money, we make sure all the needs are met. If he gets you a home, if he gets you a house, we make it a home. We are your soft place to fall. Why? If you trust us with everything. When you were younger, who always made sure, your dad may have worked, but who made sure everything was running smoothly in the house? Your mother. And for those of us that grew up in single parent families with just one parent, either the mom or the dad, more often than not, it was the mom. Mom made everything happen. Little did you know, you thought that you guys were middle class and living a phenomenal life. You didn't know your mama stayed slim and trim because she was starving. She let y'all eat, and she ate whatever was left. When you guys would want the ends peeled off of your sandwich because you don't like the crust, sometimes that's all your mom ate was the crust, because she wanted you guys to have a sandwich and not know that things were tight or you were suffering. And so if women have the capacity to do all these things to raise you, we are not only moms, we work, and then we're at your baseball game, we're at your football game, we're throwing football in the yard or in the park with you to make sure that your throw is good. We're doing all those things. Why can't you trust us to run the country? Why can't you trust us to get it right? Is it more, it is my sincere belief that this was more of a, we don't want a woman to come and fix all the broken things. We don't want to give a woman the credit. This was about the patriarchy. It had nothing to do. Listen, if you had, what term are we? 47th president? 45th president? A multitude of them has had 2 terms. So if you had an entire history of the United States of America broken, in debt, lack of a balanced budget, horrible gross domestic product, all those things, and it's always been at the hand of a man. Why on God's green earth can't you let a woman have a chance to fix it? I sincerely believe, and I don't care what your personal thoughts of her, I sincerely believe she would have whipped this place into shape. Not the least of which is she's the most qualified candidate, the only person to serve in all 3 branches, of government. That speaks for something. That speaks for something. Hey, Natalie, she said, I made another live. Thank you for my daily bread, Natanya. By the way, this is a pure heart, but I have to use another account because I couldn't post on Atwood's Live. And he said he didn't block me. Net police? Really? Wow. A lot of that is going around. A lot of that is going around. Absolutely. A lot of that is going around. Oh, yes, verbose. Listen, I'm a wordsmith. I love words. I love words. If words were crack, I'd be strung out. I love words. It's just my thing. You know, I mean, honestly, like, if we live in a fair society, then everyone should have a shot at making it better. Yes, top tier of society who unfortunately live above the real world. They literally don't care, only for themselves. Indeed, indeed. You have said a mouthful, sis. Lady Locke said they truly think differently than us. Nothing wrong with it if they don't turn evil. But that's why women are here to balance things, and we need to do more balancing things. Indeed. Listen, I'm telling you, whether you liked Kendrick Lamar or not, whether you knew he existed, that is why that song hit so hard. They're not like us because it was endemic of what is happening in society. We know that there is a large part of society that are not like us. And I'm going to tell you another thing as well. Another thing is that society is changing. You know the impact that this unaliving of the CEO had on the powers that be in society? For the first time, now, I won't say for the first time. I would say the first time they really knew that society was no longer going to just tolerate their stuff was during the civil rights period in history in America. When the civil rights movement was in full-fledged motion, they got this wisdom that, wow, we can't hold them back forever. We can't hold them back much longer. This thing is going to break. This is like a levee that's about to break and flood the whole place. We got to watch out. So they went full throttle doing other things against us to be able to prevent us from thriving. They literally went into full throttle energy mode of, we're going to stop them. We're going to sequester them. We're going to do everything we can to prevent them from continuing to ascend because they're making too many, ascensions into mainstream society. Absolutely fruit bat energy vampires. So unfortunately, oh boy, I just got a brain freeze. I got to stop trying to read comments and talk at the same time. I promise you. But when we had the marches during the pandemic, they literally said, wait a minute. Because the pandemic was afoot and so many people were at home, more than normally would ever just be at home and have the freedom to be outside marching on the front lines. When that occurred and they saw the Black Lives Matter movement, they were like, hold on. First of all, this crowd is not just Black. There's everybody out here. And guess what? And it's happening globally. They had Black Lives Matter globally. Everybody was standing for it. And they said, uh-oh, it's happening again. We cannot hold them back. You want to know what the final nail in the proverbial coffin, if you must know, was when the CEO was unalived. The amount of people who were celebrating the unaliving of someone, and I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here for 1 second and act like this country and probably tons of countries globally don't need to get themselves together as it pertains to how they treat their citizens, as it pertains to the denial of access to health insurance and health care and all of that. They need to get themselves together. But my goodness, do you know how mainstream society is quaking in their boots to see the level? And this is not something that young people are doing. This is multi-generational. I've seen old people making memes about this unaliving. Like, he has been, and here's the deal. We know, and Martin Luther King said, revolution is the act of the unheard. That revolution and that, we know that in society, revolution is the only thing that pushes the ball forward. Outside of, just short of revolution and violence, they don't hear us. They don't hear us. They don't care to hear us. They're not interested in what we have to say. They overlook us. We don't matter to them. We're not important. We don't affect their bottom dollar. Until there was a Luigi Mangione who said, no. The crazy irony, just a non sequitur for you guys, the crazy irony is the same surgery that he had, that he was complaining about the intense pain, that is the very same surgery I had. He has scoliosis. I have that metal rod. You see his x-ray with the metal rod in the spine and the screws through it. That is exactly what my spine looks like. That's exactly what I have in my lower lumbar spine. I know he's not exaggerating about the pain. I had my spine surgery when I was 17 and the odds were crazy. 33% chance that I would come out successfully and live a long, healthy life. Thank you, God. 33% chance that I would come out deformed and handicapped for the rest of my life. 33% chance that I would, okay? I had to make that decision as a teenager. And everybody had a say. It was like, no, she's too young to make that decision. No, don't let her have the surgery. She could wait. No, I said, no, I don't want to wait because I had a teacher, Miss Veronica Nuss, Ronnie Nuss at PS 189, my favorite teacher, one of my favorite teachers ever. And she had scoliosis and was very, very twisted and deformed like Shamar. I didn't want that for my life. So I made a decision, but it was extremely painful. I had to learn how to walk again and everything. And I was already 17. Like I had already had boyfriends. Like to have, thank God for my grandmother who would come and wipe my behind for me after I was already almost leaving for college. That was huge. That's huge. That's a big stamp to your life that you have to start over again. I had to learn how to brush my teeth. I had to learn how to, every simple thing, pick up a cup, because your spine is your central nervous system connected to your brain. If your brain and your spine are out of whack in any way, trust me, it throws off everything. I told myself, I said, why don't you let me brush my teeth myself? And the nurse is not, because she said, because you're not ready. And I'm like, yes, I am. I don't like this taste in my mouth. Let me brush my teeth. And she was like, okay. And she put the toothbrush there and the toothpaste and everything. She said, I'll help you out. She put the toothpaste on the toothbrush. She said, go ahead, brush your teeth. I reached out. I was trying to grab the toothbrush, the toothpaste. I couldn't even grab the toothpaste. Then she's like, she let me sit there struggling. So I looked at her and then she put the toothpaste in my hand. She said, brush your teeth. I was telling my brain was telling myself, brush your teeth. I had toothpaste all over my face. I could not get that thing to my mouth. And I was like, what is happening? Because your spine is connected to your brain. And so it throws you off. There's a time after your surgery where you're very cantankerous, very emotionally unstable and bitter. And because the pain is excruciating, you cannot ambulate normally on your own by yourself without assistance. It is a horrific surgery. It is a horrific surgery. And then there is, so the surgery I had, which I'm sure it's the same one he had, is the Zilke instrumentation, where they put a metal rod. They take out your spinal discs in between. Your spinal discs are like shock absorbers in between your spine. They take those spinal discs out in the segment of your spine where you need a fusion, and then they insert a metal rod through that space where your spinal discs are, and then they have to insert screws this way to hold that rod into place. Well, let me tell you what happened. And then for me, they had to remove one of my ribs. And mind you, I had this surgery when I was 17. I'm 54. So they cut out one of my ribs, which causes me to be unsteady. I don't know if you notice sometimes, you see the heights of my shoulder where I'll always adjust on camera, because naturally I can hold myself up normally on this side, but this side I can't. I have a rib missing. So naturally my body's going to depress. And I'm always conscious of that. You might see me adjust my shoulders. That's why. That's why. And they cut that rib, they slice the rib into slices, and then they stick it back into the spaces between your screws like shock absorbers. Well, guess what happens with bone on bone? Bone on bone fuses and makes a solid bone. It takes away a lot of mobility. It is extremely painful. Extremely painful. And it will fuse. So when I was a teenager, a Caribbean girl, we call it whining. They used to call me a wire waistline. Like it was just a smooth, no, some of that's gone, honey. Gone. Okay. Now it's like a Mariah Carey whine, like you're whining in a square box. Very weird. Shout out to Mariah Carey, but you whine like a square box girl. And those of you who know what I'm knowing, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. It's very painful. Well, this man went through all of that pain, all of those refusals to be able to give him adequate pain medicine or help him alleviate the problems in his body. And he flashed out against mainstream society because he saw them as the root cause for his problem. Well, mainstream society is quaking in their boots right now. Not only did this man take it upon himself with all of the detail, he was a genius. Do you know, most of you saw that the Pow Pow was freezing. It was a ghost Pow Pow. He printed it on a 3D printer. He created a Pow Pow on a 3D printer so he could get through all of the metal detectors if any persisted. If any of the locations he went to had a metal detector, he was able to navigate it without an issue because he printed that on a 3D printer. This man got taken out by a genius on a 3D printer. Come on. Did you hear what happened? And then, as if people didn't learn a lesson from him getting so stressed out that he felt he needed to write some words, the hallmark of the insurance industry: deny, delay, depose. He sat there and took the liberty to write that on the pow pows. And then guess what? Fired it at him, took him out, did all that he had to do to elude and evade for over a week. And as if people didn't learn that corporate America doesn't love you, doesn't love the little guy, has no mercy for you, couldn't give a whoop about you. This woman takes it upon herself. Oh, I'm going to tell on him. I see him over there. I'm going to tell. There's a big reward and I want it. Because when will the little guy learn that they're not like us? They don't care about you. She takes it upon herself to call 911 to get him arrested because all she could see is pie in the sky. I want that settlement. I want that not settlement, but I want that, what is it called? The bag for catching him. I want the reward money. She calls 911. They come, the police come, take him into custody. This dummy was supposed to call the hotline. They said, sorry, we can't give you any money. You're supposed to call the hotline. You called 911. You don't qualify. So the $60,000 that was sitting there, she can't even get it. And then mainstream society went on a rampage because they've elevated him to almost like a martyr position. And they went and gave 1-star reviews to the restaurant. Their reviews are so low, the McDonald's is almost going to close. They fired her. Do you guys see what's happening here? When I tell you that the powers that be don't love them, they fired this woman in the blink of an eye. So not only did you not get the reward money, because you were so short-sighted and you thought that the system was going to save you, you went about it the wrong way. You didn't even do study. You didn't even study what was integral to the story to afford you the ability to get the reward. In your short-sighted attempt to get the money at somebody else's expense, if unaliving somebody was not okay, you jeopardized your whole family's stability by greed. It wasn't a sincere desire for the truth and for safety and the rule of law to run. She was motivated by greed. And she was so greedy that she outdid herself. Now she has no job. And the internet is ripping her apart. Her entire name is out there and everything. And I mean, they are having a field day with it. They are enjoying this thing. Trust me when I tell you, the powers that be are quaking in their boots. They are quaking in their boots because, hey, Elkie, how you doing? Chandelier Delight. I like that name. Nerds Unite. Nerds Unite. I mean, can you imagine that you think somebody is wrong for committing one sin and you commit another sin to try to hold them accountable? Listen, everybody is shouting out for Luigi Mangione. Women are like, oh, his eyebrows. I've seen so many videos of his support. The powers that be, let me tell you something. It's going to create a whole nother thing. It's going to create a whole nother issue in the world. Natanya, did the doctors also take a bone from your hip? I grew up with a girl who had that surgery, shaking my head. She had 2 separate casts back to back. So no, they didn't take a bone from my hip. What they did was my scoliosis story is crazy. I told you guys I self-diagnosed at the age of 9. I read a Judy Blume book named Deanie, self-diagnosed. I knew something was wrong. Mispronounced the word because I was 9. I said sclerosis, but I knew something was wrong. By the time my mom took me, found out I didn't have sclerosis. I, in fact, had scoliosis. And the doctor was astonished. How could you figure this out? Scoliosis doesn't show up in a young girl until about 11. we don't normally diagnose anyone at the age of 9. How could you know this? How could you know this? Well, I knew back then that I was different. I kept telling y'all I never thought I was a child. I always thought I was an adult, just in a small body. And so I was very keen on, my body feels different. Something's not right. Not the least of which is I kept being accused of popping my hip and posing up when men come around. And I said, these women are insane. What the hell are they talking about? I don't do that. But what it was is the scoliosis was causing one hip to be higher than the other. So no, they didn't take a bone out of my hip. I went from when I was initially diagnosed, my curvature was relatively small. I went all the way to a 32-degree angle curve. They corrected me back down to 19 degrees with the metal rod in my spine. And so you'll see me, I'm conscious because I can see my reflection and I can feel with this rib removed, I can feel the lack of homeostasis in my frame, if that makes any sense. So, no, but I did have a body cast on. I had a body cast on for 9 months. This was the primitive surgery. Shout out to Derek Jones, PhD, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Nerd Herd family. Welcome. We got a doctor in the house. Woo, woo. Yes, and so it was extremely painful. When I say it was extremely painful, we family now, boo. Say that. We family. Let me hold $1. That's how you know you're really family. And back surgeries are terrible. Listen, they take a long time to heal. You had a lumbar fusion too? Yes, I had a lumbar fusion too. When did you have yours? Debbie has 2 cats. I had mine way back in 1987, back in the 1900s. And it was treacherous. When I tell you, no, not a flexible metal rod. No, I wish it was flexible. They probably do them now with the flexible metal rod. Absolutely not. Solid bar metal rod. Solid bar metal rod screws through and through to hold it in place. It's called Zilke instrumentation with anterior fusion. No, nothing like, no, I wish it was. You didn't hear me say I do the square Mariah Carey? So that's why, listen, here's the joke. Not to bring up old stuff. Aw, Expressions of Miss Dynasty, that's one of the mods. She said, Derek, welcome to the family. Let me tell you something. That's why when them 2 children was talking about I was at the party with them, child, I couldn't twerk if somebody paid me $50,000. It won't work. It will not twerk. They don't want me at their party. I can't help them. Now, I ain't calling myself no slouch now. Your girl is. However, no such thing. I couldn't even twerk. Listen, I play around here and I'm telling my daughter, is this how you twerk? My daughter's like, oh my God, please stop it. I don't have the physical ability to because of that anterior spinal fusion. So, this is how you don't waste your time trying to disprove a negative because you can't disprove a negative. Once somebody puts it in the air, you just got to let it pass with time. And they prove themselves to be liars rather than you try to prove that to not be a lie. Shout out to K-Leg. Hey, pretty lady, God's grace, blessings for you and your family. So glad I caught the live Friday night wine. Hey, girl. Listen, I could use a glass of wine too, but I smell the trusty, dusty show producer down there cooking, so I'm not going to push. And a word from the dopest. Shout out to the carrots. Thank you, my love. I could use a glass of wine too. And listen, I am a spiritual woman, but Jesus' first miracle now. Turning that water to wine. Don't judge me. Natalie said my grade 7, 8 teacher was my favorite and we still keep in touch. Ronnie Nuss was my 7th and 8th grade teacher too. She was my 6th grade English teacher, but 7th and 8th grade teacher altogether. She went out of her way to help me, feed me, and care about me because I was a troubled child. Shout out to Miss Shank and great teachers. Shout out to the great teachers. And I'm glad, first and foremost, to God be the glory that you had her and that she saw fit to see the brilliance in you and the need in you and to step up to the plate. Shout out to her for that. Absolutely. K-Lig, thank you for the super chat, my dear. Thank you so much. You had to learn how to walk all over again. Listen. We have so much in common. Keisha said, I had to learn how to walk all over again. I had to learn to eat with a fork from a terrible car accident. I know God brought me back for a reason. Girl, first of all, to God be the glory for him seeing fit to keep you here, that means your work is not done. Your work is not done. And I'll tell you, that is not a small thing to come back from, because I went through it. I had to learn how to walk again. It took me forever to walk up a flight of stairs. Not only did I have a brace first, I had the brace prior to my surgery, but I had a body cast for 9 months afterwards. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to tell you something. Always stand 10 toes down about your health and your body, because people won't listen to you or believe you. I was a teenager when I had my surgery. I told them when they put the first cast on me, I was like, this is too tight. She's like, you never had a cast before. They wouldn't listen to me. Days, I was like, this is too tight. I'm breathing. The doctor comes in the room and says, why are you breathing like that? My breath was so shallow. Because the cast was so tight, it was squeezing my stomach. I went into the hospital as a Caribbean teenager who was thickish, slim but thick. I was slim thick. My mother didn't like it. Hips and behind for days. She didn't like it. You know, when your daughter starts developing and you kind of like, oh. I came out 108 pounds and my body cast was 5 pounds. So I was 103 pounds. I went in 130 and came out 103. In 1987, in the heart of the crack epidemic. So people started saying, oh, I saw your sister. She looked real skinny. She on that stuff. And my sister was like fighting the whole world. My sister's not on no stuff. My sister had an operation. Listen, I went through a lot. When you lose 20 something pounds, like 27 pounds, in 1987, in the heart of the crack epidemic, you could not tell. And then I had this body cast on, so it took me a long time to learn how to walk again. By the time I learned how to walk again, I'm in this bulky, husky coat, and I don't want people to see me. I'm wearing all these big jackets on me because I'm so skinny, but I have this big body cast on that extended all the way up to my back and below my behind, and it was hideous. And people was like, how come your sister looks so skinny? She on that stuff? When I tell you the things I've been through in life, you have to smile through it, because I promise you, if you got an attitude for every single thing that you ever went through, I would be a curmudgeon. I'd be like Regis Philbin, curmudgeon for everything. Forever Misty Blue, I'm just proud of you. You're so strong and brave. So glad God covered you, because you're truly a light. Thank you so much. Listen, when God has a work for you to do, nobody can interrupt your journey. And trust me, anybody who comes along and tries to interrupt your journey, not going to work out for them. Not well at all. I always caution people, don't try to interrupt anybody's journey. Don't try to see somebody rising. If God has a plan for me in this space to bring souls to the kingdom and to share a good word with people who want to hear something that is level-headed, not so crazy, something that, builds their energy and makes them feel included and valued and seen, and somewhere where people are I get messages from people that's like, come through articulation, and people want to be somewhere where they feel like they're not being dumbed down, talked down to. Yeah, we play around here, but sometimes you just want to have an adult conversation, and we can do that here with each other. We value each other. We see each other. We hear each other. You guys can put anything you want in the chat and discuss with me. In fact, I'm going to bring a few people up. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Whoever wants to come up and chat and talk, we're going to kind of relegate it to like 2 minutes each so that everybody can get up. As many people that want to. And just have your say. You don't even have to have, I have some new things coming to the, some new nerd merch coming in the works. We're going to drop the merch soon. You guys are going to love it. I promise you. I'm going to put the link here so you guys can come on up. Oh no, Carrie Ann said my mom had a burst aneurysm. Was told most don't come through that. An operation that would still be touch and go. She has a short memory loss while in hospital and made a full recovery. Praise God. To God be the glory. My younger sister was dealing with her big platform now is motherhood, like maternal motherhood issues, because she was having my nephew. He's an amazing nephew. I wrote a children's book about him. It's going to be coming out soon. One about him and one about my granddaughter. It's called Handy Hammy Gets It Done. His initials spell out ham. And so I started calling him Hammy, and it caught on. Everybody calls him Hammy, but he's a little workman and he thinks he can fix everything. And so I wrote a book called Handy Hammy Gets It Done. And so I'm just waiting for it to come back from the illustrators. I'm giving him that for Christmas. And my granddaughter, her book is Little Kenny Rubin. What are you doing? And I can't wait to give them that book for. My sister had, when she was having him, she was pregnant. She kept telling them, well, she developed preeclampsia like a lot of women do. She kept telling them that during labor that she felt like she was going to blow a gasket when she pushed. They were telling her to push and she was like, I can't. I feel like my head is going to explode. And, a lot of times people, and unfortunately with a lot of Black women, they think if we express pain that we don't really have pain. Like there was not so long time ago, the medical industry and some people still now believe that Black women, because the thickness of our skin, that's where the misnomer having thick skin came from. They thought that we didn't feel pain on the same level as our counterparts of other races. And so I don't know if many of you know it, but the man who is considered the father of female gynecology and female reproductive surgeries did all of his practice surgeries on Black women because he said we could not feel pain, and he did them with no anesthesia. All types of surgeries. Black women had to suffer unbelievably. And so I advocate for everyone, when you are in the hospital, especially Black women, state your case and restate it. And I don't care who doesn't want to listen. If they are not listening to you, you ask them, bring me the MOD. Bring me the MOD. And they have to bring you the administrative manager on duty of the entire hospital. If they are not listening to you, you stand your ground and you make sure that they hear you, because far too many women, just to illustrate, my sister kept telling them, I can't push. If I push, I'm going to pass away. They said, oh, you just haven't had a baby in a while. Excuse me. Forced her to push. My sister had an ischemic stroke. She bled on both sides of her brain, went into a coma, paralyzed on one side. You have got to put your foot down. By the grace of God, both she and my nephew survived. By the grace of God. But don't let people tell you how you feel. They are not in your body. Do not let anyone minimize your experience. And as long as she wants to fight that cause, I'm going to fight it with her, because I have the platform, because I have the big mouth, and because that's my sister. I packed up everything. When I found out what happened to my sister, I packed up everything and moved to New York for the better part of a year and a half. I was back and forth taking care of her in that recovery. And this was during COVID. But for God be the glory, they let us into the recovery facility in New York, the recovery hospital. And I was by that bed every day, like, listen, with my spinal fusion, with my metal rod in my back, I was lifting my sister out of the bed and putting her in the wheelchair. And mind you, it's solid weight because she's paralyzed on one side, so she has no ability to assist in the lifting of her structure. I lifted her every single day, sometimes 10 times a day, put her in that wheelchair, took her in the bathroom, helped her to go to the bathroom, brought her back, took her, bathed her from head to toe. First thing I said when I got to that bed, when she came out of the shower, I said, what do you need the most? What is your biggest need? And she kind of looked at me, and she couldn't speak well. She was just like, her mouth was twisted. She couldn't really articulate. And I said, what do you need more than anything? And she was like, because this had been some time since she was in the coma and all of that. And she said, I'm itchy. Say no more. I lifted her out that bed, put her in that wheelchair, took her in the bathroom, undressed her and scrubbed her from head to toe. Not only is she my sister, she was my first child. Not literally, but figuratively. I was 9 when she was born, and you know how the big sister is. I had to take care of her. I was very hands-on taking care of her. she's like my first child. And, you know, I was a teenager when she was coming up. That's my baby. There's no way I'm going to let her suffer. I was in that recovery place. They used to be like, oh God, go home. Don't you have a child? Go home. I was like, listen, miss, this is my first child. Okay. So you either get out the room or give me a job application. I'm not leaving. Y'all not going to do what y'all want with her. She is going to walk again. She was it took a long time. I did all types of stuff. I bought this little blank book with these emoji stickers, and she only could use one hand and one side of her body. I said, peel an emoji sticker off, stick it on the page to show me, illustrate how you feel. I said, sometimes you're going to feel like the poop emoji, put that there. If some parts of the day you feel good in the morning, but the poop emoji, and then better in the evening, put that there. And that's how you speak to us, because she couldn't really articulate well, and she couldn't get her point across, and her thoughts were scrambled. I came up with my own Greetings, Joy 31608. I came up with my own idea of how to heal her. And so I did something so unique. I didn't even know that they had cameras on the bed and they were watching and listening. I had no clue. They would come in and be like, okay, the rehab therapy, if you needed to get this item and you were in this room, where would you find it? And it would be like a jug of milk. And then the other paper would have like a refrigerator, a washing machine, this. And it was like, I was like, my sister that was in the fashion industry, this brilliant queen, y'all talking to her like she short bus shorty. I said, no, she's not going to stay like this. She's going to physical rehab, physical therapy, and they're trying to help her walk, and they have her leg all. And when they come back in the room, I created my own therapy. She used to love Nas. I would sing Nas rap lyrics to her, and I would sing the word and then stop and point at her. And then she would be like, say what's your price? And I'd be like, if you back it up, you can hold my. She'd be like, ice. And I was making her brain work. And so help me God, after about doing this for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, the nurses came to me, a group of them, and they were like, oh my God, when you first got here, we thought you were crazy. We saw you at your sister's bed singing rap lyrics. We didn't know what you were doing. Oh my God, she has made such progress. We have never seen this. The lady in the bed next to her, one day she was just crying incessantly. And so I went to her. I was like, are you okay? Is there something I can do for you? What's wrong? She said, your sister's so lucky. I love you. I love how you take care of your sister. She's so lucky. I don't have that. My family don't do that. And I felt so bad. So I started doing things for her too, because I would see her family come every so often and kind of like 1, 2, 3 visit and they out. And she's just like, I don't know what your sister's so lucky. You love, she has love. And it was just crazy. There are lots of people that don't have love or don't feel loved or valued that are going through. And that's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about too. So for both my spinal surgery when I was 17 and when I got pow, well, of course, when I got pow, I was in the hospital after the holidays, but it was still that Christmas holiday. But when I had my surgery, I was in the hospital in recovery because it took me a long time to get out of the hospital for Christmas. And it was so weird because remember, I was 17. So even though I was in my mind grown, I thought I was grown when I was 13. But even though I was grown in my mind, I was still on the children's ward because I was a minor. And I was astounded. They used to want me to get out of my room and go to the little, the room where all the kids assemble and play. And I used to be like, I'm 17, right? Why am I going in there? It's loud. They were like, come on in here. So they would wheel me in there. And I'll be honest, there were so many kids whose parents dropped them at the hospital and never came back. Like I would literally hang out with these kids because I was just like, they would come and hang out with me and I'd be like, is your mom coming today? And they would turn and ask the nurse, is my mom coming today? And sometimes the nurse would be like, no, maybe next week. And I'm like, next week? Next week? What? How? Next week? I had a son my middle son had asthma. They couldn't get me out that hospital. Child could not get me out the hospital. I wouldn't leave for nothing. And if I left, you better believe somebody in my family was there for the little bit of time I went home to take a shower and come back. Next week, and it was the Christmas holiday, and so many kids had nothing. They didn't have gifts, they didn't have anybody there. So I would like for the nerd herd to give out gifts, not only in my city, maybe you guys can do it in your city. Look, get with Locked, get with Expressions of Mishonesty, get with Lakeisha, and find out if we can compile a list of a lot of the cities. And I don't mean just stateside, I mean globally. If there are about 4 or 5 people in your city and they are a part of the nerd herd, you guys unite, adopt a hospital, and just go give gifts to the hospitals. Or if it's a hospital, or if it's something that resonates with you, if it's let's say if you were in foster care, then maybe there's a place where you can give some gifts. Or maybe you know a family in your community that you see them at the daycare, the mom has a bunch of kids, or maybe you see them at the supermarket a lot. Like, get a hold of people and be a blessing where you can. I'd like to be able to do a toy drive here. If you guys want to jump in and help, we got to do something. There are kids suffering, and it is so hard to fix a broken child. It is easier to repair an adult who has issues and they started as an adult than it is to repair an adult whose issues started as a child. Very difficult. Very difficult. Let's get to these kids now and help now. Let's help them before they are broken children that become broken adults. That's what's going on with society. We have a series of broken adults, and they are breaking other people. And they are, like I said, leaking on people who didn't cut them. We got to do something about this. We have to change it. And I truly believe we are a body of people who have the ability to be able to do it. I truly believe that. Huh? Sister Soul said, at Locked, if I'm awake. And Natanya is love. I'm here to kick it with my nerd herd. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. I'm sure that's a part of a conversation that I didn't catch, but thank you so much. Your youngest was diagnosed at 11 with scoliosis, said was too late for surgery. What? My spine specialist had done surgery on elderly people. Her back still bothers her. How old is she now? Annette, how old is she now? 11 is not too late. I got my surgery at 17. 11 is when they diagnose scoliosis. Are you stateside? What state are you in, or what country are you in? Tell me. I'm looking for your thing. My spine specialist, Dr. Michael Neuwirth in New York, great spine specialist. He did surgeries on elderly people. At least like older, I would probably say the oldest person I saw with a spinal surgery back then, he had a book. 75? Who told you 11 was too? They're cheating your daughter out of her virility in her life. As a medicinal biochemist, I appreciate the homeostasis. Thank you. Listen, vocabulary over here in these nerd herd streets. And homeostasis is so important. It's super important. And a lot of us are missing that. Some people are not even aware. Some people are not even aware of it. And it's so important. Let's see. Sister Soul said, I was in a car accident and it left me with an acute sciatica. My body didn't feel right. Don't feel right. So I understand that there's nowhere that's nowhere as bad as this stuff. I appreciate your honesty about it. Absolutely. Listen. Yes, a body cast for 9 months. And listen, baby, that first one was so tight, they suspend you on these. So they have these pieces of cloth that are like this wide. And so there are 2 of them. One is on one side of your body and one is on the other side of your body. And then they suspend you on these pieces of cloth. You have to stay very still. You are literally suspended in midair on these pieces of cloth. If you move, bow to that floor. And so while you're on the cloths, they then start to wrap you. They build a cast around you. And then because the first cast they put, like they'll do the cutout right here for my breast. but it goes around your stomach, and then they take the rotary saw and cut an opening for your stomach so that your body can breathe. Well, the first opening that they cut after they set the cast was wrapped way too tight and the opening wasn't big enough. And I kept saying, it's too tight. They didn't want to hear me. I was like, I don't care what you say. I'm not a baby. I said it's too tight. And they were like, and the doctor was like, why are you breathing like that? And I said, because this cast is too tight. He's like, it's too tight. Why didn't you tell them? I'm like, what? I've been telling them for days. They're hard-headed. Your staff is hard-headed. And then they had to go back in and cut that off of me and then build another cast on me. Now that one felt good. That one was still secure and firm, but it gave me the ability to breathe, expand in and out with no problem. But I lost a lot of weight. And then there's a whole nother dichotomy. They slip this t-shirt, this thin t-shirt material. They slide this onto your body like a tube top and build a cast around that. Well, eventually that thing gets itchy. I took a hanger, and back then we just had no wire hangers. I took that hanger and unraveled it and was sticking it down there. Boy, I tore my back up so bad they had to cut the cast off again because I was like, my back is burning. Something's going on with my back. And I went to a doctor appointment, and they kind of pulled forward and looked and was like, your back is breaking out. What's going on? They're like, have you been sticking that hanger down there again? I was like, my back is itching. I had to cut that cast off, treat my back. And then thank God it wasn't too bad, but I had scraped so bad that I'd cut the skin. So listen, when I tell you I've had stories upon stories, medical things, and God saw fit to keep me here, I know he's using me for something. Why wouldn't I speak about his goodness? Why? I did, but I had many complications from that car accident. Thankful you made it to share your testimony, Natanya. Thank you, Keisha. Keisha, you are super inspirational. First of all, everybody need a Keisha in their life. If you don't have a Keisha in your life, baby, something ain't right. But you got your Keisha here for the nerd herd, because ain't nothing like a Keisha. Now, I'm telling you what I know. Debbie has two cats, said, I've had two surgeries, 2015 and 2018, and now I have arachnocoiditis and CRPS. Arachnocoiditis. So itis is inflammation of isn't arachna spiders? You have inflammation of the spider, what? Oh, spider veins, maybe? Fill me and let me know if I'm right, if I'm wrong. So I'm thinking inflammation of a system of veins in your legs that's causing the sciatica. At locked. Yep. Haha. She has been accurate from every live and interview. I'm catching like parts of conversations. My bad, y'all. Dell, have you looked into the Legionnaires and 60 bioorganisms? I'd say double now, combined with sewage floods and contamination. Just asking. Ooh, I looked into a conversation. I know I wasn't in that conversation. Cooking wings and about to have tequila girls' night. Listen, nothing wrong with some wings, honey. Oh, let's give her carrots to replace the wine, y'all. Make me some carrot wine. How about that? Carrie Ann, you were supposed to have a spinal fusion and ended up not having it done. Any particular reason why? Tell me why you didn't have it done, and how has that impacted your life? Oh, thank you for the carrots, guys. Thank God your kids were okay, Sister Soul. Thank God. Oh, my goodness. We want to do anything. Thank you for the carrots, guys. And shout out to teachers. Teachers don't get enough love, man. They hold society up. And they scratching to survive, but they hold society up. Lady Locke said, girl, I was slim thick too, but I thought I was fat. So stupid, man. I'm old. Listen, now we thank God for, we thank God for that slim thick. Although I don't know how much I am on the slim part, but I'm thick. We both had dogs. Hers was a Great Dane and mine was a shepherd mixed with collie. We used to take the dogs to the park. We trained to take off. Oh, both dogs were trained to take off once at the park entrance. Well, I let my dog off. Oh no, what happened to your dog, Joy to the World? Please don't tell me your dog is missing. Aw. I'm so sorry. Anybody that needs any kind of medical intervention, spine surgery, whatever, if your main doctor doesn't hear your needs, get a second and third opinion. There's nothing wrong with having a fresh set of eyes on whatever ails you. I'm serious. If you can go the homeopathic way for certain things, always take that. But as far as something like spinal surgery, I don't know that there's a homeopathic alternative to that. Go and get the medical intervention that is needed. Get a second, third, fourth opinion if need be. The pain of not having it done is probably going to be even worse than the pain of having it done. Oh my. Oh, shout out to Dr. Jones. We cousins, Derek. Shout out to you said let me hold $1. Here's two. I added more for YouTube tech. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you for the super chat. That was super dope. Hey, cuz. Dana Jacob said, look at the devil stopping my phone when you're talking about God. Preach, go away, devil. I'm so, listen, to God be the glory. We're going to always edify his name up in this space. Natalie said, I need God's help finding myself and my purpose. I'm 53 years old and I still feel like a child. But when I look in the mirror, it tells me I'm old AF. I want to finally live instead of just surviving. So here's the first thing. If I can add a word to that. Oftentimes, let me leave you a statement up on the screen. So a lot of times people feel like they haven't found their purpose, but the lack of finding your purpose is because you're seeking it externally instead of internally. You may have a lot of distractions in your life. Like if you're in a relationship or anything that feels like it's separating you from society, from your purpose, from your community, your group, your relatives. If there's somebody in your life who is like, oh, you don't need to hang out with your friends like that, or you don't need to go, you may have to shake that person off, because any union that God has ordained is supposed to be comfortable with your community. They're supposed to love and respect the community that you've built and developed in your life. Anybody who's trying to exclude you from that might not have the equal yoking that you desire. Also, when we are looking for a sense of purpose, we cannot look externally. A lot of times we like certain people on YouTube, I'm not going to mention the YouTuber, but I will say this particular YouTuber has to come on camera at all times and some designer this and some designer that. And so it's a tell. In psychology, we call that a tell. You are telling on yourself. What you're telling the world is that and it's not like you have something designer, maybe one video, and then we see you maybe 7 more videos and another designer thing. You are like these hideously oversized labels. First of all, people with money don't even wear that. They don't. So what it says is you are operating out of lack, out of a feeling of lack. You are operating like, oh my, I need to show that I'm worthy and that I have this and I have that. You're trying to validate something missing inside yourself using external things and material goods, which are doing the exact opposite. Because nobody is more gaudy than a broke person who wants to look like they have money. People who really have money, my mother taught me this a long time ago. My mother owned a lot of houses, and so she would have on a sweatsuit with paint on it and this, that, the other. And me and my sister would be like, oh, mommy, take that off. You got paint on your pants. She was like, listen, only poor people wear their wealth. Wealthy people live their wealth. And baby, that was a word. Okay? A word. If you are hyper fixated on coming on camera with gaudy logos everywhere that's supposed to be luxury designer goods, you got the swap meet version on, first of all. No disrespect, to each his own. But the tell to society is that this is what you value because something inside is broken or missing. And so don't seek external validation for what's hurting inside. There is something out there on TikTok. I don't know if you have the TikTok, but if you don't have TikTok, maybe get a TikTok or just Google it. You should be able to find it. There's something called the Shadow Work Journal. And what this does is it's going to help you unpack things from your childhood or your past that you've gone through that has brought you to this person in life, or this station in life. What concrete permanence in child development says that you are who you are going to be by the time you are 5 or 6. So who you are as an adult is an amalgamation of what you've experienced from birth to the age of 5 or 6. So if you grew up in a lack, if your mother didn't hug you enough, if you didn't have enough nurture, if you didn't feel the warm embrace of a mother against her bosom and you were left to your own devices, you're going to seek external things to make you feel better. And so this shadow work journal and lots of other soul searching, and we'll do a live about that, helping you overcome those things that you feel hold you back in life, or that you've yet to discover about yourself. It'll help you unpack certain things. It'll help you discover and refocus. And I don't mind having that discussion. I mean, there are lots of people who deal with that. And then you need to get quiet also and hear from God. That is huge. You need to shut out all the distractions. We call it laying prostrate, put a sheet on the floor, lay face down, arms extended, invite God into the space with you. Father God, come into the space with me. Father God, I'm seeking my purpose. I don't understand what it is that you have called me to do. And it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was back in 1985 or 86. It was like Oprah's 86, I think, her third show. She had this statement that said, if you find what you love and you do that, you'll never work a day in your life. So find what is it that you love that you would do even if no one ever gave you $1 for it, and start there. Don't listen to society. Society will tell you, oh, do this, do that, get a job, go do. Listen, if you like mailboxes and you have an avant-garde style of painting and you decorate mailboxes in a way, start decorating mailboxes, put them on Etsy. And put some, because here's the deal. You assess the value of what you create. You don't let other people tell you what your thing values. You tell yourself. And so paint an abstract mailbox with the most eclectic design, and then put some glow in the dark numbers or something on that mailbox so that, or on, it'll come on the stem, and sell that mailbox on Etsy and put some exorbitant price, $392. I guarantee you there is someone who will say, oh my goodness, what an amazing, look at this mailbox. I am going to be the talk of the town. This just resonates with my spirit. And they're going to take that mailbox and go take the black one off and set that out there. And next thing you know, it's a conversation piece. And then you are world renowned in making mailboxes. It doesn't have to ascribe to what mainstream society thinks is valuable. It only has to resonate with you. Because here's what I learned. The mainstream society on a macro level, they don't know what they want until you tell them what's the next best thing. You have to create your next best thing. If you build it, like they said in Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. And I hope that offers some level of, a starting point for you, some level of peace and a starting point. And you're not old AF, you're 53. I'm 54, girl. I ain't old AF. Now this knee that got trampled that night, I got pow-powed. That doesn't know I'm old, I'm young. It thinks I'm old AF too. We all have those tics and things in our body. But really, on a serious note, I want you to do some soul searching. I want you to start out tonight, until you get your shadow work journal, write a letter to the little kid that's inside of you that still needs a hug. That little girl inside of you whose issues that need tissues still persist, who still doesn't feel like her mom connected with her enough, or her dad wasn't there, or somebody harmed her. Write a letter to her, because she really thinks that you're mad at her. Write a letter to her and tell her you're not mad at her at all. You're upset that you left her so long thinking that. And let her know that she, especially women, tend to blame themselves for everything that occurs in their life. Tell her that she doesn't have to be upset about anything to forgive herself. She's fine. It's not her fault. And literally start to overcome that. Write a letter to yourself every night until you get it. I hope that offered some semblance of peace for you. And I hope that wasn't too long-winded and verbose. I'm sorry, guys, but you know, it needed it. It was needed. Thank you. I appreciate that, Derek. Cousin Derek. Oh, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. I don't know if I should highlight this on the board. I hope you don't mind, Amber. Do you mind? I'm going to highlight it because it could help somebody. Amber J said, I was a child of abuse, so I had a tailbone fracture and a broken forearm and never got treatment until I became an adult. And now fixing it is so much to deal with after years of getting dismissed. And that is, first and foremost, I am so sorry that you had to endure that. But everything that you've been through is God teaching you that you're resilient. And if you are able to be resilient in the face of adversity, God knows that if he can trust you with a little, he can trust you with much. And so don't hang your hat there. That is just something you went through. Like the scripture says, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. I say it all the time, and I will say it till the end of time. A lot of people misunderstand the scripture to mean no weapon will be formed against me. But no, that's not what it means. God is telling us in advance, weapons will be formed against you. But if you walk according to my will and my way, if you maintain your faith, I won't let them prosper against you. So the beauty of whatever you went through is you made it through. You've been through the fire and you don't smell like smoke, boo. Celebrate that. It's a lot of people out here walking around smelling like barbecue. Okay? Celebrate that you made it through. Celebrate your resolve. Celebrate your resistance. Hey, oh my God, Carrie Ann, your father's name is Hammy, and it's short for Hamilton. You want to know something funny? Ham is his initials. Hendrix Apollo. I don't want to say his last name, but I call him Hammy, and I call him Hamilton because sometimes he looks so studious. I promise you. I call my nephew Hamilton all the time. His mom was in the fashion industry, so she dresses them kids. And he will have on something so sporty. He'll look like a little preppy, studious. And I'll be like, well, hello there, Hamilton. How are you? That is so dope. That is so cute. We are all, SP says, we are all human and are all suffering. The only way to win is to get a heartbeat. Music can make that beat happen. Love, world song. Here's the thing. So for part of your thing, I truly believe, now there was a time where I believed we were all human. It might sound controversial. I don't think everybody's a human. I don't think everybody in this realm has a soul and is human. I think there are some, as they call them, NPCs. I truly believe it. You guys have encountered them. Some people who seem soulless, dead behind the eyes. You've encountered them. I believe there are some people in this world who are just filler and don't. And we are to interact with them. Whenever things get a little too wackadoodle, I say to my daughter, yeah, I forgot. This is a simulation. This is a simulation. Let me just pass this test. Because sometimes it actually feels like one. And it very well may all be a simulation. But either way, it's a test that we're faced with and we have to overcome. Dana Jacobs said, I love your platform. I love that you're of God. I love that you pray over us. It all makes me feel good after I watch you. Thank you so much, Dana. Oh, thank you, boo. To God be the glory. I appreciate that. I wrote a couple of things down too because God gave me some messages to deliver, and I want to make sure that I say them. Luke 5:14. Don't share your secrets until it's time. Holy Spirit said there are some people sharing their secrets before he wants them to share them. Sometimes when God reveals something to you or you achieve something or you get a success or a bonus or achievement, you have to hold it back for a while until God is ready for you to reveal it. Because the enemy, let's see. Theastalema is a word for the word charged in the Bible. And it means Jesus charged them not to say anything. That is what the Holy Spirit asks us sometimes, to not reveal our things before time. And the Holy Spirit wants you guys to know that. Proverbs 21:33. Whosoever keepeth his mouth and tongue keepeth his soul from troubles, because the enemy does not like progress. And so if you guys are achieving certain things, there are people around you who are not to know of the greatness of what's on your horizon. Not every victory needs to be broadcast immediately. The enemy hates progress. I just looked over and saw my reminder, and I said, oh, let me share that with them. Oh, what makes you angry, Chandelier? What makes you angry? And what a lovely chandelier that is. I'm sure I just interjected into somebody's conversation. My bad. Locke said, this is not medical advice. This is just conversation based on opinion and belief. Thank you. Oh, I warned so many people about this. Kim said when that contraceptive came out that people put in their arms, they started it in Africa first, because these are agendas. I warned so many people, so many of my girlfriends, so many people about that thing. Here's the thing. When we were young, we all wanted to make sure that we were doing our fiduciary responsibility to prevent unwanted pregnancies and to just do what's right, based on what the medical advice was. So when all my girlfriends started saying, oh, did you hear about such and such? You need to go get that. You need to go get that. My sister, everybody was talking about it. I went in there and I saw them pull out this stack of papers that you had to sign. I said, what's that for? Oh, for this new contraceptive, you have to sign. I said, what am I, signing my life away? No, thanks. I'm not interested in that. And I refused. Everybody else just took it. And guess it was wasn't it the depot? Baby, I know people that have developed, I think it's called hirsutism, where they grow a lot of facial hair. I know people that have all measure of problems. I know chicks who lost all their hair, all type of stuff, because they wanted the easy way out. And I was telling them, I said, you shouldn't be worried about no thing to put in your arm anyway. You need to be packing them condoms. You taking a chance on BC when you need to be protecting your life? People just wanted to. Joy to the world. I know my comments are backed up late. You said your mommy taught you all of that? Dope. I'm not sure which of it, but I know it's something. Wow. Pardon my Frenchie. This is wow. You said doctors said that when your dad received a new liver, they didn't know he had 90% heart blockage, and a miracle he didn't pass during the surgery, but had HA after he went home. Oh my gosh. First and foremost, that is medical negligence for them to not understand the quality of the function of your dad's heart prior to doing liver surgery. That is what all of those, when you go in for that whole workup, is supposed to be, to make sure that all of your other organs are functioning at capacity. That sounds like negligence. I don't know if you guys sued them, but I sure think you should have, especially given the fact that he had a heart attack when he went home. Is he okay? I pray that he is okay. Yeah. Shannon said, this is why I didn't leave my grandma's side in hospital and hospice. I refused to let her feel pain. That's right. Listen, if nothing else, if they've gotten to a point, so I think it's a cop-out when they say we can't do anything else. I think it's people's decision to not do anything else for you. But if nothing else, if they feel like there is no further medical remedy that can assist you in that stage of life, they are obligated to offer you something called palliative care. Palliative care is making sure that you don't feel pain. It is anesthetizing your pain so that you could have a comfortable remainder of your time here in this realm until you transition. And so you should not be left in a hospital to feel pain needlessly. Ensure that if you don't know that yourself, you heard it here at the Dopest Nerd. It's called palliative care. And that means making you comfortable, providing a pain-free existence until your transition date. And once they put you in hospice, it is their sincere belief, there's a criteria for hospice. It's their sincere belief that you don't have that much time left. You only have within a prescribed period of time left. If you elapse that time, then they will move you out of hospice back to the hospital, or recovery. But absolutely. I see something sad in the comments, Lady Locke said, but it's clearly the second part of a conversation, so I'm not going to post it because I'm not sure. Yes, I meant to say that. Joy 31608 said, absolutely true and well documented. Even Serena Williams almost unalive during childbirth. That's right, because you know what she had? She had y'all know I'm such a nerd. Like literally all of this information goes into my head and sticks forever. It never leaves. She had what was called a pulmonary embolism. She told them she felt something in her body. She felt a tightness. She couldn't breathe. And they were just like, oh, you haven't had a baby in a long time. You're fine. You don't understand. Thank God that this woman had the wealth and the means. And even in spite of the fact that she had the wealth and access to health care and the means to be able to facilitate whatever care she needed, they still didn't listen. They shut her down. You haven't had a baby in a while. You don't know. And she had a pulmonary embolism. If she left that hospital and that pulmonary embolism, that blood clot went up to her lung, lights out. Lights out. You have got to advocate for yourself. First of all, when you take your kids to the hospital, you must advocate. I don't care if they call you annoying. I don't care what they say. You must advocate for your kids. And I don't care what you guys think. What I'm telling you about me is you best believe if a doctor or anybody get froggy with me, I already feel the energy of frogginess before we get to their full frogation. And let me tell you something. I'm already recording because, baby, it is my pleasure to catch you in your malpractice. It is my absolute pleasure. In fact, I had a situation like that. I got sick right before COVID started, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. This feeling was just overwhelming. I was at the hospital. My son was with me, and there was this just disgusting doctor who was just evil as all get out, nasty. And I'm going to tell y'all a little about after that. But I felt his frogation. I was like, he's not here to do no harm. He doesn't remember his Hippocratic oath. I started recording everything because I tell you, I got endless space on my phone. I recorded about 4 hours. I found out years later when I became a life insurance agent and I applied for life insurance, and I saw something. There's a medical file for every time you've ever been to the doctor in your life. So if you're applying for life insurance and they ask you, have you ever had blah, 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 and you think you're going to lie, it is in an entire medical, it's like a credit bureau for all of the medical things you've ever endured in your life. And the information is there. So don't waste your time lying because they know it's a lie. So when I saw, and it's called the MIB, the Medical Information Bureau, when I saw in this thing, this myth information, and they questioned me on my policy, I was like, hold on a second. I am the life insurance agent writing my own policy because as a life insurance agent, you have a right to write your own policy and get commission for it. And I said, what are you talking about? That's absurd. I've never had that. And they said, yes, you did. I said, what? This is absurd. Are you crazy? And then when I looked at I wrote and said, send me my MIB. And I looked at where that was put into my file at that hospital. I went into my trusty, dusty memo finder and was able to, oh, you see that? You see how they talk about the iPhone takes a picture of you look. When I figured it out, it went off. Did y'all see that? It says that the iPhone, look at that. Bumba red. You see them pictures? Everyday new discoveries here. I'd always heard about it, but I never saw it. Excuse me, trusty dusty show producer. It sure smells good in this house. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? Huh? I said, hey, good looking, what you got cooking?
Oh, it's finished.
Uh-oh. Something just popped up on YouTube, guys. Let me turn on the volume. Than anything else. It said, I saw a thing that said that the Alphabet Boys popped in. So something concerning. It said something concerning Jay-Z. The Alphabet Boys have stepped in. Wow. This thing continues to unfold. This thing continues to unfold. My. The comments got so backed up. I'm sorry, guys. Aw, thank you. I'm catching little things. I'm trying to scroll down because Natalie said my dad had an aneurysm and a heart attack 25 years ago. He also had triple bypass, and a couple of years ago, my mom had a brain aneurysm last year. They are still themselves. Praise God. And guess what? Not only are they still themselves, God used that to show you that you will go through things, but that you come from a cherished bloodline, because that is a lot for a family to endure. And on both sides of the family, and yet you still here, and they are still here thriving. God is not through with you yet. You all should be collectively as a family sitting down and coming up with a plan on how you can serve God and bless your community, because that is not by chance. There are people that trip off the sidewalk, hit their big toe, and are unalived. All of that, and you guys are all still here and you are living and thriving. You need to be collective. Create a nonprofit organization or something. Figure out what you can do. I don't know if your dad knows how to do something like build footstools or chairs. Build footstools for, the seniors at the senior center so they can elevate their feet and not have to. I mean, God is calling you to do something. Please do something with that. That is not by chance. Oh, thank you guys. My goodness, the kindness in this chat. You guys say some of the sweetest things. Oh, thank you so much. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. I'm super humbled. And listen, my homeopathic remedies for things. Homeopathic remedies call for us to suspend a dependence on, the big pharma people, because oftentimes what they are giving us is, for every need that they solve, they create four more. Like the commercials, I say it all the time. It's like, if you have restless leg syndrome, take this pill. Side effects may be exploding diarrhea, this, that, dry tongue, your eyeball has to pop out. Like, what do you need all those other problems if you're just going to bang your leg a little bit? Get some magnesium spray your legs. That restless leg syndrome will go away, and you don't need to get any of those other things. We got to suspend our dependence on big pharma. Absolutely, we need mental health. And here's the deal. Not only do we need mental health, let me go back. Who said that? Natalie said we need mental health workers in the classrooms. Not only do we need them, but we also need, when we are parents, when parents see something and discover that there is a need in one of their children, you need to seek assistance. Everything doesn't have to be big pharma. There are kids that have been designated as having autism, being on the spectrum, having all types of disorders. And you know what changed? There is now a study. There are a lot of geneticists and people that study your gut microbiome. I told you guys before, there was two doctors that I follow. One of them, they hadn't seen each other in a while. They were at a conference and they saw each other, and he's like, hey, how's everything going? How's your mom, your family? And he said, oh, my mom's not doing so well. He had originally known that she had suffered from the big C, and that for the time they hadn't seen each other, it had progressed to stage 4. And he's like, yeah, she's a stage 4. I don't know if she's going to make it. Like, I don't know how much longer she has. She's at stage 4. It's not looking good. We've tried everything. And then the other doctor said to him, we've been working on some stuff involving fecal transplants. Because I keep telling you guys, your brain, your gut is your second brain. Your gut and your brain are one. And so if your gut microbiome is in disarray, your brain too will also be in disarray. And your body will react to that disharmony. Stop using things like list, I'm going to mispronounce it, ein, because I don't need no smoke from these companies. Listerine kills 90% of the flora in your mouth and thus your gut. So if you are gargling with Listerine, you are killing your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome has good flora and bad flora. It has good and bad. You need both to harmoniously balance yourself. God knew what he was doing when he was creating all of that. And so when you flush out too much of the good flora, and then there's just bad flora left, what do you expect to happen to your body? Your body will, homeostasis will leave your body and you will be in disarray. You'll suffer from inflammation. You won't have enough good bacteria to fight certain things off. And it just becomes a ish show. So he said to this guy, I've been working with some other doctor and we've been doing fecal transplants. And the guy was like, what? And he said, yes, we transplanted a woman with a healthy fecal microbiome, gut microbiome. We took the fecal matter from her and transplanted it into somebody who had the big C and healed them. So he was like, you got to be kidding here. He's, no, bring your mom to me. Well, let's try it on your mom. Let's exhaust every remedy possible. Because, I told you I watch documentaries and symposiums and things like that. I don't watch Housewives and Who, Ha, 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 and Love and blank, blank. And no, I don't waste my time. My brain functions at such a high capacity, even with the 9 bullet fragments still in. I don't have any room for Love and blank, blank and Housewives of Who, Ha, What. It's not my shtick. Not knocking anybody, to each his own. That's not for me. I will watch a symposium at, a hospital for their neurosurgeons for 6 hours. And I am in peace and I love it. And so he said to him, bring your mom. So he flew his mom out to this doctor's office and they stayed there for a while and they gave the mother a fecal transplant. The mother is now stage 1. And when she was stage 4, she had metastatic. That means it has attacked all your lymph nodes, all of the fibers of your body, and you are just tick, 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 waiting to go. You are waiting to go to the sweet by and by. No, they did a fecal transplant. The mother is at stage 1 and living her life, traveling and everything. And they said she didn't have much to go. I got to find, of course, sometimes my stuff slips off and I can't remember, but I'm going to bring it for you guys. I want you to see this. You know what that's called, Sharon? Sharon said, crazy to hear this, had me in tears. After my 2 brain surgeries, people look at me and don't see what I go through still. I am hurting now. Came on I'm alive and I'm blessed. Let me tell you something, honey. Let me tell you something. 2 brain surgeries, that's no small feat to overcome. Shout out to you. To God be the glory. That is no small feat to overcome. Let me tell you something. Those are called invisible scars. I've dealt with that. Because remember, for all that I endured, you can't just aesthetically look at me and see it. People would look at me and see that I look fine and I'm fine. And meanwhile, I was going through and suffering inside. And that's why I had to say, I got to take control of this and I got to heal myself. I can't wait for anybody to come heal me because to them, I have invisible scars. I look typically functioning to them. And I don't say stuff like normal. Normal is this. Normal is a misnomer. What is normal? As diverse as we are in this world, so too are our, nooks, crannies, and issues that need tissues. diverse. So I don't like the term normal. I prefer typically functioning. And we need to also deprogram ourselves from our vocabulary and reprogram ourselves, because a lot of things we say, we're speaking word curses over ourselves, all of that. So who's this question for, Keisha? Me? Is this question for me, Keisha? At any point, do I ever feel like giving up, especially with people talking negative, or was the Spirit of God upon you to keep fighting? Girl, when I tell you, I never feel like it. When I tell you the Spirit of God been in me since I was little, the first time I remember really talking to God and have a knowing of God of my own, I was 4.5 going on 5. I told you when I was young, I had to compete for this role. And I was a dancer. Iyanla Vance Man, as in fix my life, Iyanla, as in not on my watch, Iyanla. Yes, as in beloved Iyanla. That was my dance teacher growing up. And she's a phenomenal dancer. Most people don't know that. And she's an attorney and a whole lot of stuff. But most people don't know that. She was my dance teacher growing up. And I will have you know, as much as I endured, as much as I saw, we had this big dance competition. The best dancer in the dance troupe was Delva Fernandez. The only thing that she had against her was she didn't have the typically functioning, long, lanky, slender dancer's body. But outside of that, she was the best, bar none, by far. The next two, neck and neck, was myself and an actress that many of you may know, Nabushe Wright. She played, what's his name? Wesley Snipes' mother in Blade. She played in a whole lot of movies. She played in, what was the movie with Lorenz Tate when they had the white paint on with the black eyes? Nabushe Wright were neck and neck. Nabushe Wright and I were neck and neck in a dance class. And we had we were in the semifinals of a national dance competition. And everybody wanted to do the solo. And we had to battle to get the solo. And I won. And the song, I remember a teacher saying it looked like Catherine Dunham had taken over my body and was dancing for me. The song was Billie Holiday, God Bless the Child That Got His Own. I was a child. My stepfather was a jazz musician. I had heard the song, but something about it took over in me, and I danced like nobody's business. And I will tell you, I felt God with me up on that stage. I could still see myself. I could feel myself right now. I can see myself dancing that dance right now. I've never felt like quitting anything. In fact, the more people tell me no or try to push me or shut me down, it invigorates something in me. I promise you, the battery that lives in me never unalives. I have a rechargeable battery in my spirit. Nothing makes me quit. Anything that comes against me to try to shut me down, you're just telling me I have a new thing to fight. No, I don't feel like quitting. I feel like proving them wrong. Okay, it was inflammation around the nervous system. Okay. So no, nothing makes me feel like I'm going to quit. I hope that question was for me. It was probably for somebody else, but if it was for me, no, I don't feel like quitting. And listen, I also don't exist in fear. I am not afraid of anything. I do not exist in fear. All it tells me is I'm going to prove you wrong. Is that wise for everything? It works for me. It works for me. You guys. Oh, is this what the arachnoid thing was? Part of the meninges that protect the central nervous system. I agree. Thank you, brother. Look, we got our own doctor in the house. Y'all better act like you know. That ain't nothing but the blessing of God. And we are happy to have you here, cuz. Welcome to the family. So beautiful. Look at these amazing conversations. Who got the dopest chat on YouTube? Who has the dopest chat on YouTube? Come on, y'all. Who has the dopest chat on YouTube? Nobody does it like us. A natural sleep supplement. Get yourself some magnesium spray. Go on YouTube. Excuse me, not YouTube. Go on Amazon or wherever you buy your things. Amazon, you're going to get it relatively quick, and you get to review the companies and you get to review the reviews. Get yourself some magnesium spray. And those of you who are not, like I said, I'm not a doctor. This does not constitute medical advice. I am not practicing medicine without a license. I'm simply telling you what works for me and the people around me and what I would do for myself. We have to replace lost nutrients, especially as we age. I look at the analytics. I know you people are in my age demographic, and those who are not, prepare yourself for your future, but we have to supplement the lost nutrients as we get older. There is something in your body called telomeres, and your telomeres have life cycles. And the more you live and the more you endure, some telomeres burn out, and the telomeres that you have at birth is what you have for your life cycle. So if you go through a whole lot of stuff and burn out your telomeres, once they can't reproduce and they burn out, they don't recycle themselves, then the end of your cycle, you are transitioning to the next incarnation of your journey. And so you want to keep your telomeres as healthy as possible. And you have to take in sun. You need to ground. You need to put your bare feet on some grass. You need to hug a tree. All those things we heard in society that they tried to make euphemisms for cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and all of that were good things. Oh, she's a tree hugger. And hugging a tree will heal your body. We are all connected to this earth, and hugging a tree will revitalize your body. But in the interim, outside of that, you also need to replenish lost nutrients. Things like magnesium, potassium, zinc, D3, B12, or vitamin B. You need to replenish those lost things in your body. And certain things work in tandem. Like, if I'm not mistaken, magnesium is made more potent and better for the body with D3 and K12 and things like that. You need to replenish your lost nutrients. Is the only thing I know isn't legalized in most states. What's not legalized in most states? Mary Jane? And something that's very beneficial to your body also. And I saw Locked, shout out to Locked. Oh, Sister Soul said it, actually. High frequency music. I talk about it all the time with you guys. Binaural beats and high frequency music. Everything is frequency in this world. And if you increase your vibrational frequency, you will increase your body's function and your mind's function as well. So go on YouTube at night, if you have your TV on or whatever, get on high frequency sounds. There are different frequency sounds and tones that will heal the things in your body. Like back in the days in different cultures and in different segments of society, or, during the time where Black people were enslaved, there was a woman called the medicine woman, and she would play the lute. She would strum a gourd with some chords and heal your body. Strum chords and heal your body. So this thing is bigger than always running to big pharma. There are lots of things that can be a blessing to us. Oh, shout out to Locked. Be sure to grab a copy of my book, A Shot in the Dark. Wherever you buy books, you can use this link. It'll take you right to my publisher, Ingram Spark, which Mrs. Wright Publishing is the publisher, and that's me, Mrs. Wright Publishing. But I publish through Ingram Spark. You can buy it there, or you can get it on Barnes & Nobles or other places where you buy your books. You can get it on Kindle. things of that. Please be sure to grab a copy or a couple of copies. It's a page turner. Share a copy or so with a loved one. Give somebody a book for Christmas or whatever you celebrate. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy spending time with your family day. And like I always tell you, when Nirvana was little, there was on kids, I think it was Kids Nickelodeon or something. Not that that's the place to quote. They used to call it Christmahana Kwanzaa to encompass all of the things that people celebrate at this time of the year. Shout out to Shannon. She said, I am here for that discussion. And teas are great. I'm a tea queen. A lot of things can be healed just by tea. Oh, I'm glad lie prostate and invite God into the space and pray. And sometimes you will pray so hard. Just say what comes natural to you. It doesn't have to ascribe to a certain style, or you just pray naturally, talk to God, because your praying is talking to God. You are saying, God, I'm laying myself bare, surrendering to you, and I invite you into the space. Please, I need your help. Because he said, ask and it should be granted unto you. And if you can just have a prayer partner. You listen, it says, where 2 or 3 are gathered, so too am I in the midst. So if you have a child or something, you can pray with your child. Oh, come on, Derek. Derek said, R7-8 breathing helps you to be a calm and centered place. Breathe in, nose 4 seconds, try to hold for 7 seconds, and release through the mouth slowly for 8 seconds. I certainly will be trying that as well. Let me take a picture of that. I'm going to tie it up in a little while, guys, because the trusty dusty show producer has it smelling like fine dining cuisine up in here. And I certainly want to avail myself of some of her delicious eats. I'm going to miss this when she goes to college. Who's going to cook for me? Oh, she said I'm looking like I'm 30. Thank you, girl. Add 24 more years on there. I am 54 and loving it. Listen, whoever made us believe that being in their 50s was something like corny and old, they lied. 50s are dope. I absolutely love being in my 50s. It is just a breath of fresh air. It is so magnificent. And remember before when you said you were 53 and you still kind of feel like a kid, you don't really fully feel totally grown up until you hit 50, which is bizarre. Like 40s, 50s, but I love it. I love it here. Oh my goodness, it's magnificent here. Any of the youngins that's out here, baby, it's the best kept secret. They have convinced you guys that, every stage of life has its merits and its pluses and minuses, but baby, when I tell you, please enjoy your 50s. What a beautiful period of your life. Yeah, I believe there are empty vessels too. Absolutely. You guys are so beautiful. Oh, yes. Derek said he's willing to send research articles to help understand some of the things and help break down what it is saying via a short summary if necessary to send to the mods. Absolutely. Send it to the mods. Send it to Locked. If that will help, and talk to a doc. Absolutely. Send it. We are family here. This is not medical advice. This is our cousin telling us what we need to know. And we appreciate you, cuz. Because you know how it is. No one's going to tell us if our cousin doesn't tell us. We need that. Aw, Keisha said this platform is what I've been looking for. To God be the glory, sis. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Listen, I'm going to tell you again. Shout out to Amber J for the super sticker. Thank you so much, Amber J. We appreciate you, my love. Thank you. I'll tell you something that I say all the time. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you have been through. I don't care what you are still surviving through right now. You have a 100% success rate for everything you've ever been through. Starting back with that little swimmy thing from your dad that decided to swim upstream against 100,000 of his brothers and try to get that egg. He swam, he caught the egg first, and then you became a zygote, and then you became an embryo, and then you became a baby, and you became you. And then you came here to this world that is full of good and beautiful things, but also crazy things. And guess what? You have overcome every single thing you've been through. I don't care how bad it is. You are a winner by virtue of the fact that you're a winner. You made it through. You beat out 100,000 other swimming buddies. Come on now. We're not going to take the low road here. We're taking that high road. We are successful. We are winners. We are overcomers. And that is why we continue to call on God, because he is a way maker, a promise keeper, a deliverer. It don't get better. We're on the right side of the dirt. You are a winner. You have overcome everything that has come against you, because the Most High told you, as long as you walk according to my will and my way, you will go through things, but I won't let them prosper over you. Keep winning out here. Keep showing people that you're of good stock and that you're in the right place and that you found your tribe. Let them know you found your tribe. This is where you need to be, baby. Oh my, that depot sure is. Wow, yeah, that depot is treacherous. Laza said, I got 2 shots of depot. I'm 35, and at 24, I had a right hip replacement, and last year, a left hip fracture. I've never had any other broken bones ever. My goodness. So first and foremost, shout out to you for surviving and overcoming that. I'm so sorry you had to endure that. But the beauty of it is you are here to one another, sister. And that's why we have these discussions in this safe place, because what we share is helping others. There's some young girl out here that's going to know now that's not for her. But I'm proud of you for overcoming. Shout out to Sam3. She said, I love this channel. Thank you for all of the light that shines from this safe space. Thank you. That is exactly what I wanted to create, because I'm telling you, prior to creating this channel, I walked through the YouTube streets and I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything to that degree that I felt resonated to make me feel safe. Now, I found places where I had bits of safety and bits of comfort, but it wasn't pervasive. It didn't last. It wasn't lingering. And I you know what they say, if you can't see what you're looking for, ask for it. And if it's not available, if you build it, they will come. Shout out to Field of Dreams. Shout out to Field of Dreams. Oh, she said, my sister and daughter works in palliative care. It's so important. You got people out here suffering needlessly. Mm-hmm. Baby, you said a mouthful, Catwoman. Are they hospitals or unalive shelters? You are absolutely right. I agree. Oh. Locke said, now the Social Security Disability Office should be looking at the MIB. Listen, when I tell people, they are an entire warehouse of all of your medical information. And typically they don't even want us to say that, but I ain't holding up the standards of no corporate nothing. I'm going to tell my people and share everything that I need to share. Oh, child, they eavesdrop on everybody, honey. They be ready to answer anytime. You're not even talking to them and they just answer. You guys saying a lot of mercy for that flashing screen, right? That cell phone splash. I always heard that it's taking pictures of you. And it's funny. You know how I hold my phone like this? I always hold my phone like this. I look into the phone from down. Like if I'm looking at YouTube or something or whatever, I look at my phone, I hold it like this and look down at it because I heard about that taking pictures and I'm not, why do you need to take 50 million pictures of my face? I don't like it. And I also don't wear earbuds. I wear, y'all gonna laugh at me, and I'm gonna drop a gem on y'all. But I wear corded earbuds still. People look at me like I am a dinosaur, but I'm gonna tell you why. So many EMFs. If you wear regular earbuds, my son gave me earbuds. He wants me to not be all old fashioned, but I don't wear them, child. Now you can wear your earbuds if you get a shungite patch to put on them. You got me earbuds. I don't use them. They sit in my pocketbook. They are so in my fanny pack. They got so much stuff all over them because I don't use them. I like old school cordeds because guess what? When you use earbuds or when you put the phone to your head, so much EMFs go directly to your head. Electromagnetic frequencies. You don't need all that radiation directly at your head. I already have a pow-pow, 9 pow-pow fragments in my face, and I ain't got no time to play. So ever since I was young, I remember I can see myself in my house that I grew up in my mother in the dining room, watching, I think it was like 2020 back then. And this woman had a tumor in her face from her ear to her jaw. And that was the early days of cell phones. That huge brick cell phone. And I said, uh-oh, that's going to be a problem. Because everybody wanted a car phone and everybody wanted a cell phone back then. I knew it was going to be a problem. I was like, I'm not going to ever put that to my head. So in the early days of cell phones, of course, when we had the flip phone, you had to kind of put it to your head. You didn't have any accessory to let you put it on, But as soon as we got to the point of being able to put the phone on speakerphone, from then, early days of cell phones, I've always had my phone on a speakerphone, even prior to Pow Pow, because I just always felt like it was right. So that resonates with me, making sure that I'm able to not have this thing to my face. And when you use the corded ones, you get less EMFs to your face. But if you put it to your face or you put earbuds on, straight to your head. You guys need to look into that, especially as it pertains to your kids. It is messing them up before they get a chance to develop. And a whole bunch of EMFs directly to your brain, it's not good. It is not good. So please look into that type of stuff, especially as it pertains to your kids. Young people, I know they're going to be like, come on, mom, that's old fashioned. If nothing else, go on Amazon. And like I said, we say Amazon because it's a clearinghouse of everything. But go on Amazon and, yep, magnesium glycinate is the one. That's what I take as well. Shout out to the dopest the Nerd Herd crew. Y'all so brilliant. You give it 10 years? Zora Neale students. You give it 10 years for the class action lawsuit, child. That class action lawsuit will drop in 2025 probably. Do you hear that people got paralyzed stomachs? People are suffering from stomach paralysis already. Nah, 10 years is a long time. Child, them people won't even be around in 10 years. I truly believe we're going to see that in the 25-26 year. 2025-2026 is going to be a class action lawsuit for all of those shots. I want people to stop trying to take the easy way out in life. I always tell my kids the shortcut is the long cut in the end. That was probably the one line that my kids couldn't stand the most because I would say it all the time. The shortcut is the long cut. Take the long road. So you can go on. So this does not pass as medical advice. However, I'm going to find that doctor's name. You need to do some research because they said they've also cured people on the spectrum with all of these things too. It is not Big Pharma wants to over medicate them. And he said, no, they did it through healing the gut microbiome. They did a fecal transplant on a child as well. And they're not there. And this was a nonverbal autistic child. And now the child is verbal and excelling like you would not believe. So trust me, there are other remedies out there. Like I said, I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm simply saying what I would do and this is opinion. Lady Locks, OMG, I didn't realize this about mouthwash, but now about the gut stuff but I know about the gut stuff because my husband almost needed that transplant when he got C. diff in the hospital. Yeah. All of that, you're killing your gut microbiome. Instead, you do oil pulling. Get yourself some cold press coconut oil. You need to take a tablespoonful every day in the morning when you first wake up and do oil pulling. Pull that, suction it. This old school thing, pull it through your nose. Pull it through your nose. Pull it through your mouth, swoosh it all around, and do that for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes optimally, but 10. You can do it while you're in the shower, all that stuff. Do not spit it into your drain, though, because it will clog drains. It is true natural oils with fats. Spit it into a water bottle or something. Zora Neale student said, I detox my feet after every cellular expansion session and always identify parasites and other toxins in the water. Indeed. Absolutely. Aloe toothpaste is the way. Look up. Oh, listen, let me tell you something. Thank you for also highlighting it, Carrie Ann Young. You might be new here. This is one of the things I talk about all the times. Stay away from fluoride. Fluoride is the devil. There is no reason anyone should be utilizing fluoride in this big 2024. You should not. Natalie, I've gone to look into everything. I love documentaries. There's a professor at Harvard. Very good. Derek said there's a professor at Harvard that is very good. He might be the same one that we're talking about. Is he a surgeon as well? Let's see. You've heard of the procedure of the fecal transplant? Yep. Documentaries and biographies and things of that nature, and seminars and symposiums. Listen, all of them, I caution anyone to tell me what they're going to use off of the housewife shows. Yep. Amber J says, has somebody with Crohn's, fermented foods and prebiotics are so important? Yes. So fermented foods are phenomenal. If you have gut microbiome issues or stomach issues, you should be eating kimchi, and also you should be consuming sauerkraut. That fermented stuff is phenomenal for your gut microbiome. And just in general, you should be using fermented goods. But like I said, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not practicing medicine. Yep, typically functioning is important. I must be far back in the chat. Let me press this thing. Nerds Unite. All right, guys, we're getting into 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up because, like I said, Trusty Dusty show producer has done it again. It's smelling great. Not Brags. That's right. Not Brags. They are not the healthy thing that we thought they were, or that they were in yesteryear. They are now owned by the people that sell they use the appeal apples. And so you say no bueno. I don't suggest that anybody use that. There are other ones that you can use that are organic. Yeah, the Trusty Dusty show producer. That's my daughter. When I tell you she could be on the phone with her friends, you can find soursop, not soy sop. Stay away from anything soy. Soy is not for our human consumption. Soursop, SOURSOP. Soursop, You can find it on, if you have a health food store, not health food like what was the other one that was the little vitamin shop? I can't remember the name of it, but not that type of health food store, but actual a greengrocer that sells herbs, like a herbal store. If you have a herbal store in your community, you can go there and find soursop. If you're in a major metropolitan city that has a West Indian market, go to the West Indian market and ask for soursop. If none of those persist, then go online and order soursop from either Etsy or Amazon. And it'll come, and you're going to make tea with your soursop. Put them in a pot, boil it. You should be able to get the unbleached tea bags off of Amazon as well. They'll usually be like 100 in a pack or something like that. They're not very expensive. Get the unbleached tea bag. When you take your herbs, take a teaspoon and put them, you can mix the blends, put them in the tea bag, draw the drawstring, tie it, and boil that, and then drink of the water. And I would say that they're so potent that you can do that. If you put it up in a big enough pot, you can boil and make a big pot of water. If you put it in a smaller pot, like a 5-quart saucepan, you can boil it a couple of times and drink off of that. Put it in the fridge at the end of the night and just, reboil. But the Dettol you can order on Amazon. Dettol is the truth. Be sure to make sure you mix that Dettol, because baby, anyhow you don't mix that Dettol and you put that Dettol on your skin, I'm telling you right now, you will regret it. Dilute that sucker, because it ain't nothing to play with. It's super concentrated. But I think if you mix okay, Locked put a link in the chat for the soursop. Get your soursop and go to town. Soursop is the #1 answer, anti-Big C. If someone has a Big C or other medical illnesses, you need to be drinking soursop a lot. And then there is a guy on, I think it's on YouTube as well. You can look this up. He has the Big C, and I think he was like stage 3, maybe in stage 4. He drinks a combination, he consumes a combination of blackstrap molasses and baking soda. I think a spoon of each, and he consumes that in some hot water like tea, so you're not adding sugar or anything. You guys need to eradicate sugar from your diet. Eradicate it. But he adds a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of blackstrap molasses, hot water, mix it like a cup of tea. Consumes that every single day. Big C is gone. And he's been doing it for, I think, decades now. So Locked has put a link in the chat for the Dettol. And I suggest you dilute that Dettol, put it in a spray bottle, and spray your skin with it before you shower, at least 2 to 3 times a week. And here's why. There is an epidemic overgrowth of candida out here in these streets. And a lot of people don't know they have it. Candida is yeast. And I don't mean the kind you make your breads and your rolls with, that funky, itchy kind. Lots of people have candida. And they have it on their skin, they have it on their face, they have it all over, and they don't understand why they're breaking out, why they're itching, and all of that. It spreads. So you gotta cure. You gotta deal with that epidemic levels of candida out here. It's gross. That's why I'm so particular about what I touch and who I touch, because a lot of people are not aware that they have it, and candida spreads like wild root. Thank you. Natalie said, I'm saving the stream. Lots of good advice from the chat. Thank you, guys. People don't even know all the good stuff. Like, they might see the thumbnail, and then when they watch all the way through, they're like, wow, I didn't know you gave all that good information. So thank you. I appreciate you guys. Your mom-in-law drinks a beet shake with other veggies and she's in real good health. Absolute beets are phenomenal for high blood pressure. Hypertension, beets is your thing. Beets and garlic, maybe you're not gonna need any of those amloda, anything that blows up your lips and swell up your throat. You're not gonna need it. Shout out to Nick's Mountain Goats Productions. Hola, family. Thank you for checking in. Thank you so much for dropping in and coming to see us. We appreciate you, my dear. Thank you. What says a body wash? Oh, are you talking about the Dettol? Yeah, it's an antiseptic, so you can use it for body wash and all of that. It's an antiseptic. But I would, we would also clean our house with Dettol too. You can put a little Dettol in your mop water and clean your house. Oh, thank you, Locked. I do drop no gems. And listen, as I get the gems, and I got a lot of gems in here, but as I get them, I'm sharing them. It doesn't serve me to keep them to myself. Each one teach one. One hand wash the other, both hands wash the face. I'm going to go and avail myself of some of this good delights that the Trusty Nusty show producer has created. She's such a good girl. I love her so much. When I tell you, I could literally be like, she could be reading a book or talking to one of her friends, and I'll be like, Vanna! She's like, yes, Ma. I need a thumbnail. She's like, what do you need it to say? I know sometimes she'd be sick of me, but what can she do? When you have this mama, you got to be a part of it. She's a Trusty Dusty show producer. Everyone, nighty night. Love you guys. And as the dopest mod says, we appreciate you spending your valuable time with us. We know you could have been anywhere, but you came here. And we appreciate you and we love you for it. We had such a good night. Thank you so much. Double D's on deck. Hey, shout out to the Double D's on deck. Shout out, girl. We appreciate you. And you have a wonderful night as well. And if you need a prayer, join the Nerd Herd prayer list and we will pray for you. We have a lot of fun. We share great information and nuggets, but prayer is the center of what we do here. We appreciate you guys. We love you. And we look forward. And we totally thank you. Like, you could have been anywhere in the world. You could have been anywhere on this internet, but you thought it not robbery to come and spend time with us. So, oh, you're talking about the body wash. Okay, they have a Dettol body wash, but we're talking about the Dettol antiseptic. I think the body wash is already the concentration that it is supposed to be, so you should be fine with that. But, test it out, do a patch test, as they say. Rub it on your hand a little and see how that reacts. I think it should be the consistency that it already is. But the Dettol antiseptic, if it says the antiseptic and it's that, that color of iced tea that I showed you guys the other day, that bottle must be diluted. When I tell you, it must be diluted. But yeah, they have antiseptic. They also have Dettol soap, like a body wash soap. You can order that. Hey, New York loves you, the flyest, dopest nerd with the gems for everything. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. I'm homegrown. Brooklyn girl, Crown Heights in effect. Oh, shout out to Buffy Castillo, a new member. Welcome to the family, Buffy. Everybody give some love to our newest cousin. Welcome to the family, cuz. Where you been? We've been waiting for you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We love you. The dopest mod put the links for everything that was discussed. Shout out to the dopest mod. If you want to be a blessing, by all means, send the mods their love. You don't have to worry about me. Send it straight to them. Put your cash apps in the chat. If anybody wants to be a blessing to the mods, by all means, send them some love. And they appreciate it because they are super, super, super duper dope. And like I said, we have some, you guys are going to love this merch. And you're going to love the things we have for the membership things. We're getting it together back here. It's a learning curve. Oh, Locke said, thanks for being the newest teacher's pet, Buffy Castillo. The mods are super dope. I'm telling you, I love them so much. They so full of love. And here's the thing that I love about them so much. They are just pure hearted, totally pure hearted, and always checking on me. You okay? How's it going? Did you get rest? Did you get, oh, I appreciate them so much. I appreciate them so much. And they love you guys. They absolutely love you. They're just a great group, a great team. I think we've compiled a great team here. They love what they do. They're so concerned with you guys. They bring me so many great ideas, and I love it. And it's important. You know, I certainly could not do this without them. There's no way I'd be able to do this without them. And I'm eternally grateful. Thank you, expressions of mishonesty. Hey, your son is a nerd. So we're gonna post the merch soon. You guys are gonna love it. Our signature flagship shirt is called Nerdy by Nature. Can't wait for you to see it. Super dope. Nerdy by Nature. Oh, thank you so much. Well, in the membership levels, you will be able to have that prayer with me. So I said I was going to bring people on tonight. I think tomorrow, not on this live. I'm going to clip this live also so that the story, the beginning part is its own separate thing. And then this will be a different chat. I'll make another thumbnail and clip it. Have the trusty Dusty show producer clip it because I don't know how to do that. It sounds good, but I don't know how to do it. She knows how to do it. So we're going to clip it, separate it, and maybe a few of the other ones as well. Your son is a nerd. We'll have a shirt to fit your son as well. Make sure you, when you get on the birthday list, put your shirt size as well because we have some gifts getting ready to come out. You need to get with Locked, the members right now, so that we're able to, well, we'll figure that part out. I'll tell you afterwards. We'll figure that part out because we have something for you guys. You have eczema. Shout out to Laquana Miller. You have eczema now this year? Listen, honey, grab hold of that castor oil. Castor oil is going to change your life. Get a cold pressed castor oil and make sure you rub it from head to toe. Get in the shower, bathe, and you shouldn't be using extremely hot water when you have eczema, and you should not be bathing for too long. So have all of your stuff prepared and together, get in there, bathe, and get out. Your water should not be incredibly hot. I know we love hot water, but when you have eczema, you can't stand to sacrifice all of that moisture. And the hotter your water is, the more moisture that your body will be depleted of. However, have everything in the shower with you. Once you bathe off, you are going to have an applicator bottle, like that thin spout kind of plastic bottle. Pour that in your hand and go over your entire body with that castor oil from head to toe, and stand under the shower. Let the water, rub it in the hot water, let it, or the warm water, let it emulsify all through your body. It's going to seal your cuticles. Your skin will be looking brand new, like a new $20 bill. Trust me when I tell you. Do that castor oil. Listen, doesn't that sound dope? Nerdy by Nature? It is dope. I can't wait for you to see the design. You guys be sure to jump on and get your merch. As soon as we post it, we'll let you know. And I am trying to, I'm praying, be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Those of you that said you've fallen asleep at work, let your bosses know, bring them on board, him and her. And here's the deal. I'm trying to hit 10,000 by my anniversary. You know, my anniversary is December 27th, 2024. I would like to hit 10,000 at that date for us to have a big 10,000 subs celebration. I'm going to have a big celebration anyway because I'm just so happy to make it to 25. But I would love to do that in conjunction with hitting that number. So by all means, if you have not subscribed yet, I know many of you watch it on your TV, as do I. Watch a lot of YouTube on my TV. However, and you're not signed in on your TV. So if you're watching and you're watching on your TV, just grab your cell phone, find us in the search thing, and like and subscribe. Be sure to like and subscribe so we can maintain our likes. It tells the algorithm that we are doing something good over here and sending it out to more people so that they can get blessed just like you are. Also, yes, yep, we'll have international shipping. Absolutely. Yep, share the knowledge with the boss. And then when you fall asleep at the job, she'd be like, girl, it's that nerd herd. They don't know. Yes. And hopefully we will be dopest expressions of mishonesty. The dopest said, woohoo, 10,000 subscriber anniversary celebration. Yes, we are going to have a celebration. I'm going to try to have a couple of my girlfriends, one that like took great care of me, just people that were very vital to my healing and my journey. I'm going to bring them on for the celebration, and maybe my mommy, if she wants to come on, I don't know. Maybe my mom could tell you a little about everything and what that journey was like. If she's up to it, I'd love to have her on. And, you know, whoever else was a part of my journey, maybe a sister of mine or whatever will come on. But we'll do that. I want to do a big celebration for the 27th. I'm gonna have some balloons and all that because it's a big deal for me. So I don't know why I'm getting emotional all of a sudden. It'll be here in 14 days. So that's 2 weeks, and that is, I'm feeling so emotional all of a sudden. Father God, to God be the glory. Tomorrow is the anniversary. I want to shout out to my Auntie Eastland, who is an ancestor. Tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of her passing. Auntie Eastland, we love you. We miss you. Definitely gone too soon. Shout out to my cousin Ansel, who may be watching. That's his mom. She was my grandmother's sister, and it was just too soon. Too soon. Totally unexpected. Last year, this time, she was on the phone with my other aunt planning to come to my mother's birthday party, and one day made such a difference. So thank you guys. Bless you too. Thank you. Shout out to Auntie Eastland. Let me put it in the chat. Y'all not going to know how to spell her name. This is a West Indian name. Auntie Eastland, rest in peace, my queen. Shout out to Auntie Eastland. Put some doves in the chat for Auntie Eastland. It's the 1-year anniversary. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. She said, rest in peace, Auntie. Just wanted to say peace and love to Natanya. Wonderful mods, everyone. Not feeling well for the last 3 days. Need to go rest. Feel better, baby. Sis, we want you to feel better. If there's anything we could do to assist you, definitely send me an email, and I'll pray with you. And I appreciate you guys. Love you all. Thank you so much for the doves. Thank you. 1 year was 1 year ago. I can't even believe it went this fast. Like literally, I cannot believe it's been a year already. Auntie Eastland that's my Gemini auntie, just like me. And that's my homie Pastromi. Like we literally talked all the time. She texts me all the time. She was a lover of emojis. So she is enjoying these doves right now. I'll tell you, because baby, that text, if she didn't put 952 emojis, A lot of flowers. She was big on flowers and hearts, and it just was always a pleasure to get her text messages. We talked all the time. But I appreciate you so much. And shout out to my cousin Ansel, because I know, and my cousin Jerry, although we don't hear from Jerry as much. But my cousin Ansel, who is my brother, and he's my cousin, but he's my brother. He grew up with us like brother and sister. And that was his mom. And, you know, that was a huge loss for him. So I'm really, I love you, Ants. I know you're probably watching. I love you. And to the Nerd Herd family, and to everybody out there, whether you're on a live or on replay, gang, I love you guys. To God be the glory. May God continue to keep and cover you, walk with you. May God continue to anoint your life. May you continue to remember that you are a winner and you have a 100% success rate in everything you've been through. God is not done with you yet. And he said his word will not be returned to him void. So all you have to do is seek his face, call on his name, call on your ancestors' names, call on their names, call on the Holy Spirit, call on Yeshua, call on Heavenly Father, God, the Most High. Call on their names and they will be there with you. And find an accountability partner. Find a prayer partner. It's okay. The word says, if 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, so too shall I be in the midst. Ask and it shall be granted unto you. Those who have not, ask not. Call on your father the same way you would ask your earthly father. Daddy, didn't you say I could go to the movies? Didn't you say you were going to get me some roller skates? Call on your heavenly father. Daddy, didn't you say your word will not be returned to you void? I invite you in this space to help me with blah, blah, blah. Present your need to the Most High. He already knows, but present it to him. Call on your father, talk to him. You're truly never alone. And as long as you got your Nerd Herd family, we walk with you. We stand with you. You always have a family. The email is on the channel homepage. It is The Dopest Nerd, exactly like the channel title. If you ever need to talk, you ever need a word, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to the mods, and you can reach out to each other. I tell you guys, find an accountability partner in your tribe, in this Nerd Herd tribe. Exchange emails with each other, numbers when you feel comfortable, and have somebody that you can talk to in real time. You can text, and you have a life link. And we are always here for you. We will be back soon. The Dopest Nerd is the email. Remember, THA, not THE, but THA. Nick's Mountain Goat said at mail, just sent you something important. Okay, sure can. I will do that. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all. Thank you for all the love you sent for Auntie Eastland. I appreciate it. It's going to be a tough day for me tomorrow because, like I said, that's my Gemini auntie. That's my heart. And it was just so sad because my grandmother passed away a few years ago, and my grandmother was my heart and soul. And my aunt was in the room. I had sent them both flowers. One was for my aunt's birthday, and the next was my grandmother. God told me to send her flowers. I said, I want to send you flowers while you can still smell them. And so I sent both of their flowers the same day. And my grandmother passed away the following day because I could feel it in my spirit. I knew it was going to happen. And my aunt called me. I called my grandmother, and she hadn't been talking to anybody. She hadn't been talking at all. And her home attendant was like, I said, put the phone by my grandmother. I was just so full. I could feel that she was leaving and that she was coming to me. And I was just like, put the phone on speakerphone and put it beside her head. And I was just praying, and I was reading her favorite 91st Psalm and 121st Psalm to her. And I was just talking about all the years and all the things. Grandma, I love you. And remember when you did this, and you're the best ever. And we worship you. We know you. We exalt your name. We know you are an amazing woman of God. You have been a mighty woman of God. You have blessed this entire family for generations. And we all love you. And as much as we want you here in the flesh, we know it's time for you to go. And I don't want you to hold on for us. You have cried out to God to be seated at his right hand forever. And it's your time to go. And I prayed and prayed with her. And my grandmother started going, and the home attendant was like, oh my God, I've been here with your grandmother for months. I haven't heard her do anything like this. Oh my God, she can hear you. And I was just crying. I was like, Grandma, I know the hearing is the last to go. I love you so much. And I just was praying and worshiping her and telling her how much we loved her, but it's okay for her to go home to be with God. And when the next day, my aunt went over. I told her, Auntie, you have to get over there to her. And when my aunt went over, my aunt said she came in, she touched my grandmother's hand. She was like, Viv, it's me. It's your sister Eastland. I'm here. I'm here, honey. Whenever you're ready, you can go. And she said she felt overcome and she stepped away and went to the bathroom. And when she came back from the bathroom, she touched my grandmother's hand and she said, mm-mm. She said, all right, Viv, I know you're gone. She waited for her sister, who became the matriarch, next to come. And 2 years later, she's gone. 2 years. She was the matriarch for 2 years. My grandmother was the matriarch for, I think, 30-something years. Auntie Eastland was the matriarch for 2 years. So it has my mother very shook because my mother's next in line. My mother's the matriarch now. And that threw her for a loop. And it's a lot to face because we were just the oldest kids in the family. Now we are the elders. We are right under the elders. My mother's the matriarch. We have a few elders left. And the people in my family live extremely long. But most of the women in my family died in the 90s, 99, 98, 97. Auntie Slim was 75. And now my mom's 75. And so, it's a lot to take in. Thank you so much, Expressions of Miss Honesty. My grandmother was my heart and soul. And she covered me and anointed me. Let me tell you something. We are all the manifestation of some grandmother and aunt that prayed for us. Don't you forget it. And so when those grandmothers and those aunts depart this life, it is your duty to take up. And those grandfathers and uncles, it is your duty to take up the mantle and pray for those that are you and the ones beneath you. It is our duty. It is our duty. A lot of things we achieved, a lot of degrees, careers, positions in life, surviving hard things. We are the manifestation of some elder who prayed for us. It is your duty to take up the mantle now and be that source of prayer and be that force to protect the family. It's your duty. So, wow. Absolutely find a prayer partner. And in this tribe, you should find a prayer partner. Absolutely, guys. If you want to reach out to me, by all means, email me and send me your information and we shall chat. I love you guys. I wish nothing but God's grace and mercy upon you and blessings. I wish your enlargement of your territories. I wish good health and prosperity in your mind, body, soul, spirit, and flesh to you all. I love you guys. You are the wind beneath my wings. And I love you so much. And until we meet again, you know the deal. Hey, hey, hey. Love you guys. Sleep well. And walk with God.